fond of you.
All right, thanks, guys. That is rather a shock. The Yankees are the first team to be eliminated in this year's postseason tournament. And if the Diamondbacks don't win this one, then the two teams who went head-to-head, mano-a-mano, in that great World Series last fall will be the first two eliminated this year. Yanks are out. Congratulations to Mike Scioscia and the Angels. Rubio Durazo, a liner into the glove of J.D. Drew. Andy Bettis, everybody thought he was retired, but he explained to us before the game how it came that he ended up back in a Cardinal uniform.
I was at home for about a month, a little over a month, and I was actually on a trip down to Cape Girardeau with my son Drew with his 13-year-old baseball team, and I called Walt Jocketty and I said, I just feel like I need to call and say if you want me to work out, I'll work out. You know, you guys are paying me. I'm just hanging out at home. He said, well, how much baseball have you been playing? I said, not a lot. I've been playing catch with my 6-year-old, and I'm on my way to a weekend tournament, and I'm not playing it. I'm going to be hitting fungos to the 13-year-olds, but let me know.
Well, it was good work if you could get it, though. He's being paid, you know, by the Cardinals and being able to hang out with his kids, so that was good.
He could have just stayed at home watching videos in Sports Center. And still made the same money.
Right, but the one thing about this game, it gets in your blood and it stays there. You never want to walk away from this game until you absolutely have to.
Quinton McCracken, who hit .309 during the regular season for Arizona. McCracken. One out and nobody on. 2 balls and no strikes facing Bennis. He is 3 for 8 in this series. A switch hitter, batting left-handed. And that is off the outside. 3-0 the count. Andy Bennis also, while he was out, they came back on a rehab assignment, went to the minor leagues. They really didn't know what they were going to get when they got him back. And really only brought him back because there was nobody else. They were out of pitchers. And that is ball 4, a 4-pitch walk to McCracken. With 1 out here in the second inning. No score in the game. And it'll bring up the left-handed hitting David DeLucci. But while he was in the minor leagues, he developed a new pitch, a new look, and also credited Chuck Finley, his new teammate who was acquired for the stretch run from the Cleveland Indians, with helping him as well. Because let's face it, Bennis, I mean, he used to be a guy who'd go out there throwing 95 miles an hour. And he's not that same guy now.
One problem that he still does have occasionally is he will lose the strike zone because he averages like a walk every 2 innings. And when he's throwing strikes, he's almost unhittable.
1 strike to count. We saw him in Atlanta back on August 4th on Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN. And that was one of his early starts upon returning. And he went into the 8th inning at Turner Field with a 1-0 lead. It's a ball too low. 1 ball, 1 strike to DeLucci. DeLucci got a little power. Part of the depth of the Arizona Diamondbacks. Good pinch hitter. Runs well. Can play all over the outfield. That was one of their strengths last year. Arizona had a lot of pinch hit options coming off the bench late in games. They kind of wear you down over the course of a 9-inning game. 2-1 the count to DeLucci. So the Anaheim Angels are in the American League Championship Series, and they're waiting to find out if they're going to take on Oakland or Minnesota. The Twins stayed alive today with a blowout victory at the Metrodome. That one is off the outside. 3-1 now to DeLucci. We are at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. The Arizona Diamondbacks down 2-0 to the Cardinals. They must win tonight or be eliminated. However, I mean, it seems so commanding for the Cardinals, but that's not the way they're looking at it. No. Because if they lose tonight, they know they got Randy Johnson fully rested, ready to face him tomorrow. And if there's a Game 5, Curt Schilling will come back. There goes McCracken, and the ball is lofted foul high in the air off the third base side. 3-2 the count to DeLucci.
Well, they feel like they're in good shape because they built their 2-0 lead against Randy Johnson, and of course the start that Curt Schilling made. But you do not want to test those waters again if you do not have to.
I mean, Johnson got hit hard in his start. He wasn't right. Curt Schilling pitched a beauty. There goes the runner. The ball is swung on. A high drive deep into right center field. Going back is Drew. He's at the wall, and this ball is gone. And the Arizona Diamondbacks, who have been bereft of power, bereft of almost any signs of offense in this series, get their first home run of the division series. They had scored only 3 runs in the first 2 games combined, and David DeLucci goes deep to right center, and it is 2-0 Arizona.
And that's the point I was making, that you can't. He continued to pitch from behind. He walked McCracken, then he stays behind, and he has to throw the fastball, and DeLucci's sitting on a fastball, and he drives it out of the ballpark. Dennis' success comes when he stays ahead in the count, and he's able to pitch out of the strike zone, get hitters to chase pitches off the plate.
Now here's BARAJAS, and a foul comes right back over our heads into the upper deck. Remember Rod BARAJAS, Game 5 of the World Series last year? Damian Miller, the regular catcher, was supposed to start, but about an hour before game time had to be scratched because of an injury he had sustained the night before. BARAJAS came up there, and his average for the year was about 160. In the press box, Yankee Stadium, everybody said, who is this guy? He's in a World Series. And he's facing Mike Messina. Big game. First time up ever in a World Series, he gets a single, and his second time up in that World Series, he hit a home run. So Rod BARAJAS now in a division series in a huge spot. And he's in there tonight, not because of what he did in that World Series, just because he usually is the catcher when Miguel Batista pitches. 2-1 the count. Center field, Edmonds, and that is out number 2. 2 down, 2-0 Arizona.
Well, you see DeLucci's home run, David DeLucci's home run puts him ahead 2-0. And there's Randy Johnson and Curt Schilling saying maybe we'll get another shot at these guys.
Now see if somebody had done that while Schilling was pitching the other day, he might have won that game 2-1. And that's a foul by Miguel Batista. Back out of play. Batista hit 157 this year with 8 hits and 51 at bats. That's a called strike on the inside. Dennis was having a hard time getting that pitch called in the first inning. Batista even hit a home run this year. He hit it against Kaz Ishii of the Dodgers. And he is quickly retired on the breaking ball. But 2 runs on the board. The Diamondbacks with a 2-run lead. PUJOLS coming up.
I'm very proud of my lawn. In the fall, I use Scott's Winterizer. The food enters the root system, stores it over the winter. Then in the spring, perks that grass right up. Scott's Winterizer gives me the last green lawn in the fall and the first green lawn in the spring.
Is razor burn ruining your morning? The new Extreme 3 from Schick balances 3 blades on a central pivot for a close, comfortable shave. The Extreme 3. Get close, not burned.
When you're raising teenagers, there is one word parents need to master.
No. No. You understand what I'm saying?
No.
No, no.
No, no.
No.
No, no, no.
Once more, for those that weren't paying attention, what's that word?
How about no?
No. No, no.
No?
No, 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 no.
Eventually, your kids will get it.
No, no, no.
So should you miss the hit 8 Simple Rules?
No, no, no. Are we done yet?
No.
No, not till we tell you it's on Tuesday at 8, 7 Central on ABC.
Voltus is the only name you need to know. Our separate production, exterior design, and 24/7 office staff provides the best service for you, the customer. We are a GAF certified and System Plus roof warranty installer. We use journeyman siding, thicker than most in the industry, with 3/8-inch backer board. Our Symington 550 reflection windows have 5/8-inch glass, double pane, with PVG interception seal. It can cut your heating bills 40 to 50%. At Voltus Roofing, Siding, and Gutters, we got you covered.
cheap, fun, fun.
Hi, I'm Fred from Dirt Cheap Beer and Liquor. The more she drinks, the better you look. And remember, size really does matter. Carry a big wallet with the money you save with our low price, low tier products.
Cheap.
Please visit us. We are the last refuge of the persecuted smoker, and we really are grateful for your business.
Cheap, fun, fun.
Have fun, but drink responsibly. Be careful out there.
Cheap, fun, fun.
Now is the time.
All right, so the Arizona Diamondbacks actually have a lead. 2-0 Arizona. This is the only time that they have led in this series. David DeLucci going into the bullpen in right center. Now the powerful Albert Pujols will come up against Miguel Batista. Now, Joe, I mean, this is only Pujols' second year in the big leagues, and he has already established himself as one of the most reliable clutch hitters, run producers in the league. And then when I check his biography, I'm shocked when I realize and am spurred to remember that he's only 22 years old.
Well, I don't think he was ever a rookie. I mean, once he got started after the first month, I mean, he looked more like a veteran than anything else. I mean, he's been consistent, and he's been their most consistent player both years, not just this year. And if it wasn't for the fantastic season that Barry Bonds has had, I think he might win the MVP award.
1 ball, 1 strike. And that curveball is down and away. Pujols in this series, 2 hits, 8 at-bats, including a triple and 2 runs batted in. Well, here in St. Louis, they had a great period back in 1967-68 when they went to the World Series in consecutive years. And Orlando Cepeda was a great leader on that club. Won the MVP 1 year for the Cardinals. And people who remember that ball club, they feel that Pujols kind of reminds them of the baby bull. El hijo de Perucho, Orlando Cepeda. And I know he kind of reminds you of an old teammate of yours.
Yeah, I mean, I played with Tony Perez, and the first time I saw him last year, I said, this guy kind of reminds me of a young Tony Perez because he's very aggressive through the hitting zone. Not with his body, but through the hitting zone.
Look at it. That's a high sinker. And Batista throws hard with a lot of movement, and that one almost got Pujols.
Well, the target's low and away, and you can see it up and in. The rotation just moves the ball up and in on Pujols.
3-2 for the powerful Pujols. That one got away. Into the backstop. Pujols races up the first base line. Well, now he's reminded me of another old teammate of yours, Joe, Pete Rose. But had that ball taken a funny bounce on the backstop and ricocheted oddly, he might have had a chance to go to second because he hustled right away. I like him.
Well, he's definitely a good player. He loves to play the game. And he has knowledge far beyond his years because, I mean, he knows what he's doing in the batter's box. By that, I mean, he makes adjustments as the game goes along. I've seen him make adjustments on how they pitch him the first time up as compared to the second time up, and then he adjusts, and they have to go a different way.
Tino Martinez. And that is a called strike with a cut fastball. Tino has not had a hit in this series. 21 homers, 75 driven in, the former Yankee. And who would have believed that a year later, this former Yankee would still be active in the postseason while the Yankees themselves are going home for the win. That's a ball outside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Last year he got off to a slow start in the World Series against the Diamondbacks. And then he hit the big home run and got him started.
He's the one who hit the dramatic 9th inning homer in Game 4 of the World Series against Kim to tie the game. And then it was Scott Roches the next night in the 9th inning, again with the Yankees down by 2. And the Cardinals are down by 2 right here in the 2nd inning. Tino Martinez. Albert Pujols at first. 2-0. Arizona leading. We were talking about Albert Pujols. He has hit over over 300 with more than 30 homers, more than 100 RBIs, and more than 100 runs scored in each of his first 2 years. And that is such a rarity. He is the first player ever to have done it in the history of the game. 300 average, 30-plus homers, 100 RBIs, and 100 runs in each of his first 2 years at age 21 and 22. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Tino Martinez.
Job by Barajas here. He gets his entire body over in front of it. All too often lately we see guys just reach out with one hand and try to catch the ball. Because they catch the, you know, there are a lot of one-handed catches now where the catcher's glove you can catch with one hand. In the old days they had to get over in front of it and block the ball.
2-2. And Tino bounces it foul. Batista, and 3 starts and 3 relief appearances in the postseason last year, which is kind of unusual. That's Pujols leading from first. Durazo on the bag with him, and Pujols back to the bag. Pujols doesn't look like he'd be a base stealer, although. Well, in fact, looking at his numbers, he only stole twice all year.
But he runs well. He runs the bases well, which is good for him and the Cardinals.
Off the outside, full count now. So Batista having a hard time putting Tino Martinez away after walking Pujols to start the inning.
Well, we'll see how Tony La Russa plays it. You know, you're still early in the ball game. You can still use your weapons, and one of their weapons is their speed.
There goes Pujols. And ball 4.
It appeared to me that he threw him a slider trying to catch the back door. But he misses with it. Now let's see the rotation on this pitch. No, it's a fastball, or a cut fastball. And it stays outside.
Backdoor cutter. What do you think?
Yeah, that's what it looked like, but I don't understand why. I think in the situation when you have a 2-run lead, he's got a good sinker. You might want to, you know, just try to keep the ball in the ballpark.
Now Chuck Diffin is out to talk to him. Barajas, the catcher, also out there. And here is Edgar Renteria, who hit .372 this year in his at-bats with men in scoring position.
Now, one of the things you see more and more of, and that is guys not pitching well with a lead, not knowing how to pitch with a lead, let's say. You can't walk anybody. If you have a lead, Albert Pujols leading off the inning, even if it's a home run, you have to make him hit the ball. And when you walk guys, when you have a lead, you're really helping them get back into the game.
Edgar Renteria, one-time World Series hero. As he takes a called strike. And I asked La Russa about, in his eyes, who is the MVP for the Cardinals this year? And he says, well, hey, Albert Pujols, he might be the MVP of the whole league, if you're asking me. But he says, I really have to also point at Edgar Renteria. He had the best year he's ever had in all phases of the game. That is a little bit low. 1 ball, 1 strike. And nobody was better on the Cardinals in the clutch than Renteria. He was 3rd in the league in his batting average with men in scoring position. Remember that night we were here, the Hall of Fame Sunday night game, the night of the inductions at the Hall of Fame, and he capped a sensational 9th inning come from behind victory with a home run against the Cubs. Here it is. And that was a long one. And it capped a 6-run 9th inning rally. They came from behind and beat the Cubs, their arch rivals, 10-9. And he did things like that often. This should be 2. They get 1 at second. Womack to first. 2 double play.
Nice pitch there from Batista. Ball going away from Renteria after pitching him inside so much. He went away and got the ball down, and he gets the ground ball. He had pitched him inside. Now he goes away, and you see all Renteria could do was hit that ball sharply on the ground. And nice easy turn, 4-6-3.
What about that feed by Spivey? Did you like that feed? I mean, it got the job done.
Yeah, well, as long as it gets the job done, it's all right with me.
All right. Here's Miguel Cairo. Cairo ended up being the hero in Game 2 after Roland got hurt. His ninth inning hit drove in the winning run, and he drives in a run here. So Miguel Cairo getting the start in place of Roland, and he immediately knocks in a run. Very Roland-esque. And it is 2-1 Arizona.
The ball was tailing in, and it got him on the fist, but he was able to muscle it into the outfield. See, that ball's inside. He kind of muscles it into the outfield, and the Cardinals have scored a run with only one base hit this inning. And that's what the two base zone balls will do for you.
So Miguel Cairo blessing himself after the RBI hit. Cairo in this series is now 2 for 2. Each of his hits has knocked in a run. Mike Matheny, the hitter. Cairo back to the bag at first. Cairo was the pinch hitting specialist for the Cardinals in the regular season. He had great success in that category.
There was a decision to be made by Tony La Russa whether to move Pujols into third base and let maybe Marrero play the outfield, or let Cairo play third base to replace Roland, and he decided he was going to go with Cairo.
Well, the decision looks brilliant right now.
Yeah. Well, I think it's good anyway, because Albert Pujols, as he said, and we both talked about, had such a great year that moving him this later stage, moving him back to the infield could be difficult for him to adjust to after playing left field for so long.
And that is in there for a strike, a cutter to Matheny, and it is 0-1. 2-1 Arizona. Last of the second, a leadoff walk was followed by another walk. And now that leadoff walk has turned into a run here against Batista. I mean, that's no way to go out and start pitching after you were handed a 2-run lead.
Right. You just definitely do not have the option of walking someone. You have to make them hit the ball.
That's a ball down the knee. 1 ball, 1 strike to Matheny, the 8th base hitter. Andy Bettis on deck. We're talking about Miguel Cairo. As a pinch hitter this year, he had 19 pinch hits, which was second most in the National League, and hit .322 as a pinch hitter. And he played all over the field: first base, second base, shortstop, third, left field. Looking back, WOMACK and Matheny is retired, and so are the Cardinals. But they get a run on 1 hit. We head to the 3rd inning. Top of the order: WOMACK, Spivey, and Steve Finley. 2-1 Arizona.
When life throws you a tough pitch, that's it.
At Busch Stadium, the Diamondbacks 2, the Cardinals 1 as we head to the 3rd inning. Each team scoring in the 2nd. Tomorrow, baseball coverage in the Division Series on ABC Family at 1 Eastern, 12 Central, if necessary. The Diamondbacks and Cardinals. It'll be the big unit, and Matt Morris if they play. The American League Game 5, and that's the big one. The Twins at the Athletics at the Coliseum, 4 Eastern, 3 Central, 1 Pacific on ABC Family. And tomorrow night, the Braves and Giants. The Giants need a win to stay alive at Pac Bell. That game will be seen on the Fox Network tomorrow night. Giants got clobbered by Atlanta today. Greg Maddux, the master, shut down the Giants, although Barry Bonds hit a home run. And the former Brave, Jason Schmidt, got knocked around. It was a tight ball game until the 6th inning, and Atlanta had a 5-run 6th inning to break that one open. Andy Bettis to Tony Womack. Womack in the air, right center field, long run for Drew, and he gets there.
I think it's imperative for the Cardinals to keep Womack off the bases, and the same thing for Batista. He has to keep VINA off the bases. There's that little breaking ball inside, And he hits it pretty well, but good job by J.D. Drew. He runs it down, and he actually coasts a little bit after he gets there.
So one away. Womack is now only 2 for 11 in this series. And here's Spivey. He drives one very high in the air. An easy play over to his left into left center goes Pujols. And that is out number 2. 2 down, nobody on. From Busch Stadium in St. Louis. The Diamondbacks out in front here trying to stay alive in this division series. I'm John Miller along with Joe Morgan. Hey, didn't I see you in Anaheim last night?
Yes, and I hope you see me in Oakland tomorrow morning.
Man, you get around.
Well, this is a great time of the year to, to be a broadcaster, to get a chance to see all the great games, see all the postseason play. This is baseball at its best.
All right, when this game's over, let's drive out to Oakland.
Yeah, let's take off and go.
I mean, that place is going to be rocking tomorrow.
Should be.
Like the Bay Area.
Yeah, the whole Bay Area will be rocking.
The A's will play a little bit earlier, and then the Giants will play across the bay at Pac-Bell Park on the same day. And the 49ers are playing a home game tomorrow. Let's try to go to all the games in the Bay Area tomorrow. What do you think?
I think I can make the A's and probably the Giants. I don't think I can make the football. I have to wait a while for football.
Yeah, football hadn't really started yet, has it? 0-2 the count to Steve Finley. And strike 3 called at the knees. Dennis, after laboring in the first 2 innings, has a 7-pitch inning. This one has started to turn a little bit. We'll see.
On an all-new big borrow and deal. Talk about it.
The Arizona Diamondbacks 2, the St. Louis Cardinals 1, last of the 3rd inning. Andy Benes, the pitcher, leading off against Miguel Batista, taking a strike. Then the top of the order comes up. Fernando VINA and then J.D. Drew. Andy Benes hit 206. I mean, his hitting improved after he came back from that injury. Broken bat. You're going to have to hurry. WOMACK throws him out. I mean, Andy did hurry, but he's just not very fast, Joe.
Well, he's got the real big knee brace on his knee there, and he doesn't run real well with it. See it right there. Big knee brace. We've seen a lot of this in the postseason, bats shattering, and they seem to find their way back up the middle in most cases. Tony Womack charges and makes the play.
I mean, we saw Terrence Long break his bat on 3 consecutive at-bats in Oakland the other day, game 1 there, and then the next day another one.
Yeah.
Here is Fernando VINA, who flied out to left center his first time. Fernando 7 for 12 so far in this series, and that's a called strike. I'm going back to something you mentioned with Tony Womack, that the Cardinals need to keep him off the bases. Conversely, I mean, Arizona needs him to start getting on base.
Correct.
Like Vina's been getting on base, because they don't have that much power.
Well, remember last year, he was one of the real big heroes in the World Series. He also got the game-winning hit in the bottom of the 9th of the 5th game in the division series last year to beat the Cardinals. So, I mean, he has had some big games against the Cardinals, and they really, you're right, they need him to get on base.
Running up as if to bunt, VINA taking that one in the dirt from Batista. 1 ball and 1 strike. Matt Williams from third. Rubiel Durazo from first came rushing in when they saw VINA run up as if to bunt.
Well, they all play in pretty shallow. I'm surprised that Durazo is playing back so deep, because if he drags the ball, he's not going to be able to do anything with it.
Backdoor slider misses. 2 balls and a strike. I say slider, and again, with Batista, that could be a cutter.
Yeah, it's hard to tell with his pitches.
2 balls and a strike. Miguel Batista with a 1-run lead, last of the 3rd. J.D. Drew on deck. And a foul, but talking about Womack, tonight he has hit 2 fly balls.
Right.
I mean, the last one he hit pretty well. But every time he hits a fly ball, I think the pitcher feels like, good, I did my job. I mean, that's not his game. If he hits a ball in the air, he hasn't really done his job offensively.
Well, he actually was swinging the bat really well down the stretch, and I think, when the Arizona was threatened and they were able to finish it off, he was really swinging the bat well.
That's a base hit to left field. Speaking of swinging the bat well, Fernando VINA has another hit. He is now 8 for 13 in this series.
Well, that's just good hitting.
J.D. Drew got the only run home against Kurt Schilling. This was early in the game, an opposite field home run, and you can see right there, wasn't a real bad looking pitch.
Well, he didn't even have a great swing at it. He just kind of threw the barrel of the bat at it, but the ball must have been carrying really well in Arizona that day because it did go to left field and into the seats.
A lot of hitters would tell you that the ball generally does carry pretty well in Arizona. Here's Drew. He lined out to first his first time, and that's a called strike. Strike to count to Drew. You got the power up now. Drew, Edmonds, Pujols, Tino Martinez, all of them can hit a home run at any time. All four of those guys. I mean, the Cardinals had a very good year, but you know they could be better. One strike to count.
I think from top to bottom, they have the best lineup in the league. By that I mean they have speed, they have power, they have good hitters who can hit for high averages. They can hit and run. They can put the ball in play when necessary. I mean, they have a lot of options with this lineup.
That one is down the left field line, foul, and back out of play. 0-2 to Drew. Well, when I mentioned that they could be better, I mean, J.D. Drew has had this knee problem. He's probably going to have surgery when the season's over with. I mean, this guy has only just barely touched the surface of how good he could be.
Yeah, but he was picked up a little bit by Eli Marrero. You're right. I mean, he does have all the tools in the world.
Tremendous power and excellent speed. And he strikes out. So Batista gets him with the breaking ball. Out number 2.
See a little breaking ball on the outside part of the plate. Oh, that's more of a changeup, actually.
Look at that.
A little changeup.
Through the dead fish. What did you call a changeup? I mean, besides that it would irritate you.
Okay.
maybe I should ask you that after.
Yeah, right. Ask me later.
2 down. Here's Jim Edmonds. I mean, Edmonds had some injury problems this year. He did not have the big season that you associate with him. I mean, it was a good season, a solid season. 28 homers. He hit .311, but 83 RBIs. And we're thinking Edmonds 35, 40 homers and 120 RBIs. Not very demanding, Joe.
No, I mean, he expects that much of himself as well. I mean, he's had a couple of fantastic seasons since he's been here with the Cardinals. But I really think the changeup is the pitch that you have to have with the guys hitting as many home runs as they do, and a lot of guys swinging for the seats. The changeup is the equalizer.
Off the outside. So Batista has lost the strike zone here to Edmonds. 3 balls, no strikes. This is not a good time to do so because Albert Pujols, who did have a very good year, is on deck.
And watching Tony La Russa, he's not as aggressive, I would say, in certain situations as, some of the other managers. A lot of times he will let guys hit 3-0, but, in the case with Pujols coming up next, he probably gives Edmund the take sign, which he did. He was going to take it all the way anyway.
So ball 4, that's the 3rd walk allowed. That moves the runner into scoring position. And now Pujols comes up with a chance to do some serious damage. BARAJAS out to the mound to talk to Batista. Pujols drew a 4-pitch walk leading off the 2nd and eventually came around to score a run.
Well, if you were Batista in that situation, you were not going to give in and throw Edmonds a fastball middle of the plate in because you thought he might be swinging. And you know now that at least now you have a chance. You have a right-handed hitter up there.
2 on, 2 out. 2-1 Arizona leading. And that one snaps in there for a strike.
So when you fall behind 3-0 and a left-hand hitter that can hit the ball out of the ballpark, you have to be a little careful here because you can say, all right, I'll start all over with the next hitter with no balls and no strikes, and that's what he does here with Pujols. Although I'm not a believer in pitching around a lot of hitters. I believe the more hitters you pitch around, the more trouble you get yourself in, and it catches up with you eventually.
Tino Martinez on deck. A little flare into shallow right for a base hit. VINA heading home. Here comes the throw. Not nearly in time. And over to third base goes Edmonds, and the Cardinals have tied it up. Albert Pujols delivers again.
You know, it may seem like, well, that ball wasn't hit that hard, but that's the way Pujols hits. You get runners in scoring position, he doesn't try to pull the ball, he goes the other way. And again, that's why I say it reminds me so much of Tony Perez when he was younger. He's going to right center field. Look at that. So he's going that way. He's not trying to pull that pitch. And he hits a little soft liner in the right center. They have no chance of throwing out Fernando VINA at home plate with 2 outs. You're never going to be able to throw him out like that. And he's excited, and all the fans in Sacramento, his family up there in Sacramento, California, is excited.
So the Cardinals, for the second consecutive inning, get a 2-out RBI hit to knock in a run. That's how they've scored their runs. Here's Tino Martinez to try and get one as well. Down and away, 1 ball, no strikes.
That's why I'm not a big believer in pitching around certain guys, John, because where does it stop? I mean, in this Cardinal lineup, you've got some pretty good hitters. Now you have to face Tino Martinez. And even if you were to pitch around Martinez, then you have Renteria. So it has to stop someplace. You just have to pitch to the lineup and try to get them out.
Change up in the dirt. 2 balls and no strikes. Pujols, by the way, as the Diamondbacks seem to be placing a call to the bullpen. Albert Pujols hit .340 with runners in scoring position. But as you pointed out, Joe, I mean, he wasn't up there just thinking the big fly, the heroics. He just was looking to get that run home.
You don't drive in 130 runs without being consistent with runners in scoring position. You can't just hit home runs and drive in that many runs.
Now it is 3-0, and Batista has hurt himself many times in the last 2 innings out of the strike zone. There's Matt Manti, the right-hander, up in the bullpen for Arizona.
Now, this is a situation where if you're Tony La Russa, you might let Tino Martinez swing away because you have that runner at third base in scoring position, and you're in a tie ball game. And a big hit here could make a big difference in your fan reaction.
That's a strike to the inside. 3-1. Tino walked his first time. A 2-out walk to Edmonds. That's what put VINA into scoring position. And then, sure enough, Pujols, I mean, he's the man for the Cardinals. And you need that runner picked up, and he picked him up. Tino drills one, but right to Matt Williams. So they get the 1. And we start over again. It is 2-2 going to the 4th. Matt Williams coming up. The National League Division Series, the Cardinals and the Diamondbacks. The Diamondbacks, the World Series champions of a year ago, but down 2-0 here. They must win tonight or their season will end. Andy Bennis, who fell behind 2-0 in the second. And DeLucci's 2-run homer. Now back even here. The D-backs, Miguel Batista giving up a run in the second and the third. 2-2. Matt Williams, Rubiel Durazo, and Quinton McCracken coming up. And the changeup is too low. 2 balls and no strikes. Rick Helling has started warming up in the Arizona bullpen. Batista's had 2 very difficult innings. I mean, really, he was fortunate that he only gave up the 2 runs in the second and third innings. He walked 3 guys and gave up 3 hits. So there's Helling up in the bullpen. Also a starting pitcher in the regular season. 3-0 to Williams. That's a strike on the outside at the knees. 3-1. Matty struck out his first time.
I think if you're Bennis, you just have to throw strikes. I mean, you fall behind Matt Williams, you still have to go ahead and give in, try to throw him a fastball and hope he doesn't do much with it.
This is Cairo. Number 1.
That was actually a good pitch. He got the ball down, which is what you want to do. But But the important thing is you want to make them swing. You can't afford to put hitters on base by walks in this ball game. That was a real good pitch. Sinker, and it was pretty much moving away from Matt. Not much he could do with it.
One down, and Rubiel Durazo will come up now. Durazo, a very powerful hitter, had only 222 at bats and hit 16 home runs.
He's a real good fastball hitter.
And a curveball for a strike.
You'll see that a lot. I mean, they'll try to stay away from throwing him in fastballs, especially in fastball counts. The only time they would throw him a fastball is if they can get ahead in the count and try to have him waiting for a breaking ball and sneak something on him.
Just inside. Durazo in there tonight instead of Mark Grace. He lined one to the right fielder his first time. It was his first at bat of this series. That one just a little bit low on the inside. 2-1 to Durazo. Andy Benes has had one previous postseason victory 2 years ago against the Mets in the League Championship Series. That is called strike. He's had 3 previous division series starts, 2 at the Mariners against the Yankees in '95 and 1 against the Padres in '96, but did not get a win in any of those. That one is pulled foul right past Robin Yount, the first base coach.
That tells you how good a fastball hitter he is. He's thrown him change-ups, curveballs, 1 fastball inside with 2 strikes. He tries to sneak another one inside and he pulls it foul. That will basically tell you can't sneak a fastball by him on the inside part of the plate.
And back to the changeup. I mean, Durazo physically, I mean, in stature, he kind of reminds you a little bit of Jim Thome, the great slugger of the Cleveland Indians. I mean, he's big and strong, broad-shouldered, powerful-looking hips. He had a hard time staying healthy, though, and has not found a position where he's particularly adept. 2-2 the count to Durazo. The right field, nice pickup by VINA. He throws him out. That one took a high hop as he went into a slide, and he had the sleight of hand to come up with it.
Well, you see a lot of infielders now sliding into balls. What that does is stops their momentum so that they can make a good throw. You see, he stays with it. Now it becomes an easy play. If you catch that ball running toward the outfield and have to try to turn and throw behind you, it's a more difficult play to make. Nice play there by Fernando VINA. We see shortstops do that as well.
So 2 down to Quinton McCracken. Now, I mean, we see it in slow motion, and you see the mechanics of it and the artistry, the ballet. But it also made that play look a little bit easier than it really was.
It was a very difficult play because of the hop.
McCracken takes a strike. McCracken walked his first time. Fernando VINA. And I tell you what, I mean, Peter Pasquarelli was pointing this out between innings. They're talking about some of the things the Cardinals have going when they're healthy. Some of the hitters who could end up having bigger years next year. But when they got their whole team in there, they're all healthy. They've got Gold Glove type players at catcher, second base, shortstop, third base, center field.
Right. I mean, it's a very good defensive ball club. You're right. Especially in the defensive positions, that's up the middle.
That's a foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes. That might have been the split finger pitch there from Dennis. McCracken with 2 down and nobody on.
Yeah, it could have been a splitter.
Maybe a changeup?
No, I think it was more of a splitter than a straight change. His changeup, you can change his motion just a little bit.
And he strikes him out. Dennis has retired 8 in a row since giving up the homer to DeLucci. 2-2, Renteria coming up.
You're watching the MLB Divisional.
Steve Berthium, Jeff Brandley back at our baseball studio. Twins and A's game 4, and Jeff, Miguel Tejada not looking like an MVP here.
Well, the A's have given a couple of ball games away, but they do go back home. They've got Mulder on the mound. Twins don't hit lefties. Advantage Oakland.
A 7-run Minnesota fourth leading to an 11-2. Twins win in game 4. Back to St. Louis. John Miller and Joe Morgan.
Matt Radke will go for the Twins tomorrow. And we'll be there to bring it to you on ABC Family at 4 o'clock Eastern Time, 3 Central, and 1 o'clock Pacific Time from the Coliseum. Here's Edgar Renteria against Batista. That point sinker runs way inside. 1 ball and no strikes. Renteria grounded into a double play his first time. Renteria 3 for 9 in the series. Miguel Cairo on deck. The bouncer to second. Spivey, 1 away. In game 2, Miguel Cairo ended up in the 9th inning after the injury to Roland at the plate, and right here he knocked in the winning run. Renteria scored to make it 2-1. That was the winner. And then tonight they were down 2-0, 2 outs, and he got this first pitch single to knock in the Cardinals' first run of the game. They since have scored another one to tie it. So Miguel Cairo has had 2 of the most powerful at-bats that a guy who's only had 2 at-bats could possibly have. I mean, impact at-bats. Scott Rowland, who after the Cardinals acquired him, it's funny, I mean, he didn't hit at first for them, although eventually he ended up hitting well. About a third of a season, the equivalent of a third of a season, he had 14 homers and 44 RBIs. That one drills Cairo. Man.
And the tough part, as you said, with Tony La Russa, they do not have a lot of extra men on the bench because of Roland's injury, and they went in with 12 pitchers anyway instead of the normal 11.
Ow.
And got him close to the hip bone. He seems to be okay at first base.
Barry Weinberg, the trainer, out to have a look. Looks like Cairo's okay. Is Scott Rowland unavailable. Terrible disappointment to Rowland. Cardinals were the team he grew up rooting for. Dad used to bring him into town, and he was 3 for 7 with a home run already in this series when he got hurt. But you know, the Cardinals, the Alliance Bureau came up with this. When he was playing third base, the Cardinals allowed fewer runs than in all the games where he didn't play third base. Into shallow center, Finley, it's a base hit. And over to third goes Cairo. He saw it falling in all the way. Then the throw goes right through the middle of the infield. Picked up by Batista eventually. Durazo did not go to the mound as a cutoff man. And the throw just came right through the middle of the infield.
And indirectly, Miguel Cairo has taken the place of Placido Polanco. He's the everyday guy moving around, playing a lot of different positions, and he also plays like Polanco. I always thought Polanco was one of the best base runners, just a very intelligent, good player. And you could see that Cairo could sees where the outfield is. He knows the ball is going to drop in. You take a look beforehand to see how deep they're playing, and he comes all the way in. Now, Finley throws the ball all the way into the mound, and as you said, there's the first baseman, Durazo, is still over by first base. He thought the throw was going to go to third base.
Now Bennis with the sacrifice being called for here. Runners at first and third. Matheny getting that bloop single. And the Arizona bullpen is busy again. Cairo was hit by a pitch. Wildness has plagued Batista.
You have to remember, Tony La Russa will squeeze every once in a while. If he figures he can get the count where he wants it and the situation right, he will squeeze. And of course, Bob Brindley's over there thinking the same thing. Which pitch will La Russa try to squeeze on? And you see he's giving the signs for the pitch outs. He's guessing with La Russa.
There it comes. This is the squeeze. It rolls foul.
Well, you know what happened there? It just appears to me he tried to make too good a bunt. Just with the runner coming, just bunt it anywhere. See, when there's a suicide squeeze, you just try to bunt the ball, put it in play. You do not have to make a good bunt. This ball is out on the end of the bat. He deadens it a little bit. Now, with the runner coming, you can just bunt it back to the pitcher. Bunt it anywhere. You just want it in fair territory. See, and he deadens it down the first baseline, and it goes foul.
Now he's squared around to bunt again.
Well, this is kind of a safety squeeze, and he may just be bunting the guy to second base.
Pulls the bat back. Ball 2. All right, I mean, is it possible that they might try the suicide squeeze twice in one sequence?
Well, it's always possible, but it appears that on that pitch, he was just going to sacrifice Matheny over to second base, try to get another runner in the scoring position for Fernando VINA.
I mean, and he was, but now the count has gone to 2-1 in his favor again.
Well, you know what he's doing? He's tricking them. He squares around, then he straightens up like he's going to hit, and they're not sure what's going to happen. And that's why you see Batista calling BARAJAS out to the mound. He says, what are we going to do here? If I throw a strike, he's already squared around, and if the runner breaks, there's nothing I can do.
2-1 the count. I mean, 2-1, it doesn't seem like he'd be pitching out, right? I mean,
well, yeah, but that's a great time for you to pitch out because Tony Russo may say, well, 2-1, they've got to throw a strike. See what he's doing here? He squares around. He says, well, I'm gonna bunt. Now he straightens up. Now that confuses Arizona. Now he squares again.
And that misses again.
Well, Batista's thinking, is he squeezing? Is he squeezing? You know, and that's what he's thinking, and he doesn't want to throw a strike and let him squeeze the runner home. Now, this would be a pretty good time to squeeze.
3-1.
Yeah, because he's faked him out twice. Now, if you're Batista, you say, well, I have to throw a strike. Good play. Now, that's the time that if you're going to use a play like that, that's when you use it, right in that position right there. Because if there was a play on, somebody would have been caught. So that tells you there wasn't a play on.
3-1. There he comes. The squeeze is on. And it works. BARAJAS has only one play. Spivey covering, and the Cardinals have gone ahead.
I think you have to give Bennis and La Russa all the credit in the world for making that work. See, every time he squared around, Batista thought the guy was going to come home. So what does he do? He throws ball 1, ball 2, now it's ball 3. And he says, I'm not going to walk this guy, so I have to throw a strike. So La Russa has him in a perfect position. He has to throw a strike so he can go ahead and squeeze. That was just perfect execution by the Cardinals.
Well, the Cardinal fans are real excited about that play. They're still on their feet. Here is VINA. First ball swinging, and that high fastball back to the screen. And it is 0-1.
You know, in hindsight, you look back, and if Batista would have thrown a strike, say 2 balls and 1 strike, he would have sacrificed the guy to second base. And that's what you wanted. But he wasn't sure they were not squeezing, so he kept throwing it out of the strike zone. And once you get to 3-1, you can't walk the guy. You have to throw a strike.
Runner at second, that's Matheny. 2 down. And a foul will go out of play again. VINA, who is the hottest hitter around right now, 8 for 13 in this series, including a hit tonight. 0-2 the count to him. Now, the other thing on that, when Bennis was showing bunt and then bringing the bat back, I mean, when he brought the bat back, they had to take it seriously. Yeah. I mean, he's a good hitting pitcher.
It was great execution on the part of the Cardinals, and I don't think there's a lot that Arizona could have done. You couldn't pitch out. I think the only thing they could have done was throw a strike and force him to sacrifice.
VINA bounces it foul. Still 0-2 to Fernando VINA. So, after falling behind 2-0 in the second on the DeLucci home run, the Cardinals have come back with a run in the second on a 2-out single by Cairo, a run in the third on a 2-out single by PUJOLS, and now a run in the fourth on a suicide squeeze bunt by Andy Bennis. To the count. He takes it. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The other thing that, I mean, wildness has plagued Batista. He started that second inning after being staked to the lead with 2 consecutive walks. The first walk became a run. Cairo's hit. The walk in the third inning with 2 down moved VINA into scoring position. And they went PUJOLS to knock him into the single. And a hit batsman here. Cairo got hit by a pitch, and he scored a run.
Exactly. I mean, well, his wildness, as you said, has cost him these runs, but you know, he has given the Cardinals the opportunity, and they have taken advantage of it because they've had a 2-out hit, and of course that was just a perfectly executed squeeze play there by Andy Bennett.
I mean, he looked like an old pro in that one, didn't he? He did. 2-2 to count. That's Matheny at second base. He hit a bloop single that helped set up the run. His single got Cairo over to third base. VINA is trying to get Matheny home. Battling it out here with Batista. Back to the screen. Now that pitch, I don't know if it was a hard slider or a cut or whatever it was, but it hung right out over the heart of the plate. 2-2.
Well, they're supposed to go inside, and it goes out over the plate.
The right-hander in the Arizona bullpen. That is a base hit. Matheny rounding third, and he will score. It is 4-2 St. Louis. And Fernando VINA is on another planet right now.
But the great thing again is the Cardinals' execution. I mean, they're getting the job done when they get the opportunities.
It's the third inning in a row in which they've gotten a clutch 2-out RBI hit.
It looked like a fastball that was moving in towards him a little bit with that late movement, and he rips it into right field for a base hit.
And Bob Brenly's coming out, and that's going to be it for Miguel Batista. The left-handers, Drew and then Edmonds coming up, and the left-handed pitcher. Swindell coming in from the bullpen. Cardinals 4, the Diamondbacks 2. D-backs jumped out to a 2-0 lead, but it's been all St. Louis since, and Fernando VINA knocking in the 4th run with that clutch 2-out hit. Mike Matheny was the runner at second, and he scores easily. And he was at second as an additional benefit to Andy Bennett's suicide squeeze bunt that knocked in the go-ahead run. At the same time, it moved Matheny into scoring position.
Well, I think we've seen a lot of great strategy the last couple of weeks of the season. Guys taking advantage of situations and using the other team's strategy against themselves. And that's what happened there with the squeeze one. I thought that was brilliant by the St. Louis Cardinals. And down the stretch, we saw Joe Torre do some things that, you know, were brilliant to take advantage of the way the defense was playing his ball club. So I think we're seeing some unique things happening on the field. Managers taking advantage of situations that they know are going to pop up during the ball game.
Swindell worked in game 1, but not successfully. They got VINA picked off. Russell's for the second, and Womack with the tag, and just like that, the inning is over. Drew will have to wait an inning to bat. The Cardinals get 2 more. Now they lead 4-2. Here at Busch Stadium, they're telling the fans the Cards' next home game to be determined, and indeed, it could be tomorrow. If Arizona comes back to win this ball game, and they're trailing now 4-2, they'll play here tomorrow. That'll be the next home game. If the Cardinals hold on to win this one, the next home game depends on whether they'll be playing the Giants or the Braves. If they're playing the Braves, it wouldn't be till next Saturday. The series would start in Atlanta. But if they're playing the Giants, it would be next Wednesday.
Well, but I think they're talking about saying that their next is to be determined because it would be the LCS.
Well, it could be tomorrow if they don't.
Yeah, but that's not what the sign was meant to do. They're just trying
to. You mean the Cardinals organization is putting a sign up to say that?
Yeah, I think that's what they're trying to do. To say, hey, we're going to win this one.
Wouldn't that be irritating? Wouldn't you be irritated if you were Arizona?
I don't think they really care.
That's a foul by David DeLucci facing Bennis. DeLucci hit a 2-run homer in the second inning to put Arizona ahead. Their only home run of this series. have not had another man reach base since then. There's a splitter, too low. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The only runs for Arizona on Gallucci's home run. In fact, the only hit the Diamondbacks have had against Venice was that home run. Just a bit low, 3-2.
It's been often said that the biggest half inning for a pitcher is the half inning after the team gives him the lead. If he can go out there and shut them down and let his team get back at the opposition, his team can usually build up a lead. But the worst thing you can do is after your team gives you the lead is to get back in trouble.
Now, does that hold true if, as the pitcher, you're the guy who personally gave your team the lead?
Well, you held them there.
I mean, he knocked in the run, right?
Well, I guess so. I guess you're saying if he knocks it in, he has the right to give up runs.
And VINA throws out Gallucci. Well, one way or the other, Venice is having fun since coming back from the injury. He talked about how that all happened.
I went to Memphis. I worked with Dyer Miller, who's our pitching coach in Memphis, and I kind of got my delivery back together. There were some things that I was doing that weren't allowing me to get the most out of what I have, and so I got that back together. But I also got some guys out, and one of my teammates even said, "Hey, you look like you're having some fun," and fun was kind of reintroduced to the game, and so I really had a different approach going out there. I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to lock into what I need to do, but it's not life or death.
I think sometimes if you step away from the game, and I think you really realize how much fun you had playing the game and how much you miss it, and then you're given another opportunity. I mean, that's the greatest thing in the world. I mean, when you look at, say, Carlos Baerga, after his, exit from the game, now he comes back, and every time you see him, he's having fun. And I think that's part of what goes on when you walk away from this game. I mean, you love it, you always like to come back.
That one is drilled foul by Rod Barajas. 2 balls and a strike. Chris Donalds has come out on deck with the pitcher due up next. 4-2 St. Louis ahead. Well, I remember when Eric Davis was out of the game. I mean, he had all kinds of injury problems. The game wasn't fun. And then while he was away,
you realized it was fun.
The inner city baseball program and whatnot. And he got healthy again. And he just couldn't wait to get back. Number one, with a healthy body for the first time in years. But number two, he realized, being away, just how much fun it had been.
Yeah, exactly.
And he took that attitude with him back and had several more very productive years in the big leagues. 3-1 to Rod Barajas. That one is hit deep down the left field line. That one is on its way. A home run. So Barajas, I mean, he knew he was getting a fastball on 3-1, and he knew just what to do with it. That was a fat one, and that was a home run hitter's home run. 4-3 St. Louis.
The only time Venice gets in trouble is when he gets behind in the count and they can sit dead red and do something with it. He doesn't have the type of fastball anymore that he can throw 2-0 and 3-1 when the hitter is sitting on it. And this fastball is going to move inside. Look at that, right to the middle of the plate. Matheny was set up away, but watch where the pitch is. Right where he can do something with it. And he drills it out of the ballpark. But only when he's behind in the count and they can sit on it have they been able to do any damage.
Here's Chris Donalds, the pinch hitter for Greg Swindell. Rod Barajas hitting a home run. Barajas, who hit 3 homers all season in the big leagues. Wow. The off-speed pitch, 1 ball, 1 strike now to Donalds. Donalds hit .238 in the regular season, 3 home runs and 80 at-bats. He's 0 for 2 in this series. Tony Womack on deck. Now, the bullpen is busy. Rick Helling getting ready to come in. 1 ball, 1 strike. Off the outside with a changeup. 2-1. All right, so Venice knocked in the go-ahead run. Now he's given that run back. Now, Joe, he can't. Got to hold the line there. That's it. And I gave a little bit of grace period there because he had been the man who knocked in the run. 3-1. I mean, he's the one. He feels like he let himself down here. I mean, he got himself a little cushion, He was an integral part in setting up that cushion. And it all happened because he went 3-1 on the 8th place hitter.
And he's gone 3-1 again on Donalds, the pinch hitter.
4-3, the Cardinals lead. And that is ball 4. And now to the top of the order. And quickly out to the mound is Matheny. LaRussa alongside his longtime pitching coach. They were together in Oakland and again here in St. Louis. Dave Duncan.
Well, I think, you know, you're probably going to see someone get up in the Cardinals bullpen, because if you start to get to the middle of this lineup, you may need one out to be gotten by your bullpen, but no one seems to be getting up.
The phone rang.
Yeah, there's someone stirring down there in the bullpen.
That is Jeff Facero. He'll start throwing in the St. Louis bullpen. In fact, has already done so. Runner at first, one out. Donald's at first. Now Tony Womack coming up. Now the Cardinals have 12 pitchers. So they can go to their bullpen early. They got lots of pitchers out there. Their bench is very thin with the loss of Roland. I mean, during this series with Roland out with an injury, they cannot replace him. So they're shorthanded. There's that sharp curveball in the dirt. A check swing by Womack. And Ted Barrett, the third base umpire on the appeal, rules in favor of Womack. 1 ball to no strikes. Womack has flied out twice. 0 for 2, 2 for 11 in the series. Now, after Womack, you get some hitters who are guys who can drive in runs.
And the one thing we've seen in all the division series, I mean, runs are being scored. Pitchers are not dominating the hitters.
Another ball in the air by Womack. This one, Edgar Renteria tracks down and foul ground after a long run. Number 2. Womack has had the ball airborne in all 3 of his at-bats tonight.
I think on this one he is fooled a little bit and he gets out in front of it. I think he took a little off the pitch and he had him out in front. And that's why he popped it up.
So now Junior Spivey, runner at first, 2 down. Spivey has struck out and flied out to left center. Spivey had a very fine season. He's 2 for 12 in this series. And the split finger pitch is too low. 1 ball and no strikes. Spivey hit .301. 16 homers, 34 doubles, 6 triples in the regular year.
Had a great season for the Diamondbacks, especially when he wasn't even supposed to be the everyday second baseman when spring training started. And the only reason he was given that job was because of the injury to Matt Williams. And then Craig Counsell moved over to third, and Spivey took over at second and had a fantastic season for the Diamondbacks.
Counsell is another guy that they're missing badly right now.
Yeah, definitely.
And down the stretch of the season as well. Fastball off the outside, 3-0. You've got the powerful Steve Finley on deck, a left-handed hitter. So Bennis has lost his feel for the strike zone here in the 5th inning. With the 3-1 and BARAJAS, who homered. And he walked Donalds. He did get Womack, but now he's 3-0 to Spivey. And he walks it. That moves the possible tying run over into scoring position as Spivey takes over at first. Donalds moves to second. Now you've got the left-handed hitter coming up, and you got the left-hander up in the bullpen.
Well, the left-hander in the bullpen is going to face the left-handed hitter coming up.
So Andy Bennis does not go long enough to get a win. The Diamondbacks are a base hit away from tying the score. 4-3 St. Louis. Andy Bennis, as he departed, disappointed, not able to survive the 5th inning, but the fans gave him a standing ovation anyway.
And I think it's well documented what he went through to get back to the major leagues, and they appreciate that, and they're showing their appreciation for his persevering and getting back to the major leagues.
Well, and it shows what great knowledgeable fans they are, because he was a huge part of their stretch run when they were so strong, even when their pitching staff was decimated with injury, with tragedy. Randy Bennis came out of nowhere and did some of the best pitching that he's ever done.
Well, the reason that Tony La Russa's taking him out, and normally you would give him a chance to get that third out, but the reason that Tony's taking him out is because he realizes if I don't win this game, I have to face Randy Johnson and Kurt Schilling. So I'm going to win this game today. I'm not going to worry about tomorrow, next week, or whatever. I'm not going to worry about who gets the win or who doesn't. I'm going to go out and try to win this ball game, and I'm going to bring in the left-hander Facero to get Steve Finley out right now and stop this.
So they're in the big part of the order right now where they could do some serious damage. Finley takes a strike from Facero. Facero was having a horrible year with the Cubs, and then he came here and everything turned around. He pitched extremely well as a Cardinal down the stretch. Facero had a 3.0 earned run average as a Cardinal and an ERA over 6 with the Cubs. He was not picked up until late August. Steve Finley, that is a base hit. Donalds heading home. Here comes the throw. He is out at the plate. Donalds, the possible tying run, and Albert Pujols throws him out of the plate with Matheny putting on the tag. Diamondbacks got a clutch 2-out hit with a man in scoring position, but it did not deliver a run. Albert Pujols gunning down Chris Donalds.
Well, part of this is positioning. Watch, he's playing shallow because he doesn't hit the ball that far to left field. But now the other is the execution of a perfect throw, one hop right to the plate. Nice tag by Matheny, and he shows Angel Hernandez he had the ball. Look at this, one hop, perfect, easy to handle, catch it and make the tag. But again, that's the positioning that the Cardinals play. I mean, it may seem like a simple thing, but they were playing Finley in shallow in left field because he doesn't drive the ball that way, and so that gives him a chance to throw someone out at the plate. And there you see the Cardinals bench as they react to the nice throw by Pujols. And Pujols has a very strong arm, and he's pretty accurate with it. Anytime you play third base and you move to the outfield, you're pretty accurate as far as throwing the ball because you have to be accurate as an infielder.
So now Rick Helling, who got into game 1 as a reliever. He was a regular member of the starting rotation all year. Tries a curveball very high to J.D. Drew. Drew was at the plate when Swindell came in to pitch in relief of Batista. And Swindell never actually threw a pitch. He picked off Fernando VINA, and that inning was over. The deep left center field. Finley on the move, circling now, and he makes the catch.
Well, we're going to show you the game 1 of this series. Albert Pujols also threw a runner out at the plate. And watch, gets rid of, look at that, very quick release, but that comes from playing third base. Another great tag. Look at Matheny dive out there and get him. Great play by Pujols in game 1. Great play by Matheny, and he makes another accurate throw here.
And that was a fast runner, Junior Spivey, that he got.
Yeah, I really believe that a lot of it has to do with the fact he played third base. He has a strong arm, very accurate. He used to throwing it over the top. The ball stays straight.
Now Jim Edmonds, and that's a called strike. Edmonds has lined out to center and walked. The third place hitter in the Cardinal lineup. 3 for 9 with a home run in this series. 4-3, the Cardinals lead. And a long way to go yet in this game. We're in the last of the 5th. Edmonds has had 4 career homers against Helling and 26 at-bats. That is strike 2 at the knees.
And Edmonds is having a lot of problems with Angel Hernandez, and he's arguing over pitches. In the first inning with 2 balls and no strikes, he argued with him. And he just seems to have started it in the first at-bat that he disagrees with Hernandez, and he's letting it affect these at-bats.
Well, Helling with a couple of quick strikes. 1 down, nobody on. And a curveball. Did he swing? No, says third base umpire Ted Barrett. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Helling got a pretty good curveball.
Yes.
He's not a power pitcher. He's a finesser. He won 10 and lost 12 in the regular season.
see where it goes. I mean, that's a strike. I mean, it's not too high. And it definitely was over the plate. I just think that Hernandez got into his head that first at bat, and he's letting it affect him.
Hernandez got into Edmonds' head.
Yeah.
Robert Pujols, the hitter. Well, I mean, the umpires have been instructed. Part of what's been happening the last couple of years, the orders are not to call pitches that are off the corner strikes, but to call those low and high strikes.
Well, I'm going to tell you, with 2 strikes, that was a good pitch.
I mean, if he'd swung at it, he might have hit it hard. That's not exactly the kind of 2-strike breaking ball a pitcher wants to throw.
No, I wish we had the K's on. We'd show him, but I mean, that pitch is a strike.
You left it.
Yeah,
it in Anaheim,
well, it was in Anaheim. I couldn't carry it. My bicycle didn't have a seat to hold it.
Joe always has to do everything himself. Pujols retired for the first time. Matt Williams coming up. Freak. 13 Nights of Halloween begins October 19th on ABC Family. Here's Matt Williams driving one high in the air into center, but Edmonds back under it now. And Matt Williams hit one to the deepest part of the ballpark, and Edmonds right in the middle of the warning track before he stopped and waited for it.
With a little style, too. This is a big ballpark straight away in center field. And watch this. Watch the end of the catch. Jim Edmonds goes back. A little style there. Nice play by Jim. Just a few style points there.
He's good.
Yeah, he's good.
I mean, when you're good, you can style a little bit.
Exactly.
Now, Rubiel Durazo. Another guy who's capable of hitting one out of the ballpark. He never had a hit against Facero, but Facero got Matt Williams on that 1 pitch out. And Matt had 4 homers in 26 previous at-bats against Facero. That is in at the knees for a called strike 2. And Durazo walks away from the plate, perhaps not happy about that call. Edmonds was not happy about a couple of pitches down there. K-zone, though, Joe, and we had that on our Sunday night telecast, and we had it in Anaheim last night. That slider strikes him out. He went out of the strike zone for that one. So 2 men are gone. But it shows that pitch that they've been complaining about tonight is a strike. The Reese's pitching summary for the starting pitchers. Miguel Batista, a strong beginning, and then he started walking people, hitting people, and it cost him. He did not survive the 4th inning. Andy Benes seemed to run out of gas in the 5th inning. Gave up a homer, a couple of walks, and he did not survive the 5th. But did leave with his team ahead. The Reese's pitching summary. Here's Quinton McCracken. And that is a ball up and away. You ever have a Reese's peanut butter cup?
Yes.
Like one time and that's it?
Yes. Oh, my daughters like them. They have them around the house. I just do not indulge very often.
Well, on Halloween when they come home with their goodies, that one off the glove of Facero, man, that was a shot right back at him by McCracken. And Facero, as he was hitting the deck, threw his glove up there and actually got a piece of that one.
Sinker down. McCracken rips it back through the middle. He gets some leather on it, but not enough to slow it down. This has worked pretty well for Tony La Russa in that he brought him in to face Finley. He's facing Durazo. He turned McCracken around, and now he has DeLucci, another left-handed hitter up there. So this inning here has been very important for La Russa if he can get Facero through this inning, and then he can go to his bullpen for another reliever in the next inning.
Lefty in that bullpen for later on, Steve Klein. DeLucci has homered tonight, and he has grounded out to second. 2 down, McCracken at first. That is a called strike. Ball and a strikeout to DeLucci. The bullpen is busy. There is the right-hander Mike Crudale up. So if Bob Bradley were to make a move and bring in a right-handed hitter. La Russa's got somebody up ready. So he stays with DeLucci. That is the low fastball strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 4-3, St. Louis ahead in the 6th.
I would have to say that the hitters are just going to have to stop complaining. I mean, these pitches look pretty good. They're not like they're way off the plate or way low. I think you just have to start swinging the bats.
The bag is McCracken. Well, it's not where the catcher catches the ball. I mean, where he's catching it makes it look like it's below the knees, but that's not the definition of the strike zone. It's where it is when the ball crosses the plate.
In front of the plate, to be exact.
A ball and 2 strikes to DeLucci, who stands toward the front of the batter's box. Strike 3 called on the inside corner. 1 man left. Now to the last of the 6th. Tino Martinez and Edgar Renteria coming up. 4-3 Cardinals.
Steve Berthium, Jeff Brantley in our baseball studios. Jeff, first time since '97 the Yankees won't play in the ALCS.
Tremendous courage by the Angels. Great execution. They've got it done.
Angels will play at either Oakland or Minnesota in Game 1 Tuesday night. Back to John and Joe.
The Anaheim Angels. There's a called strike from Rick Helling to Tino Martinez. Tino, the former Yankee. His ball club knows with a win tonight, they will move on. He has walked and lined out to third. Helling is too low with that one. 1 ball, 1 strike, 4-3. The Cardinals lead the Diamondbacks. Edgar Renteria is on deck. 52,189. The official paid attendance at Busch Stadium tonight. Right to Womack. So that's the 2nd straight time that Tino has hit a liner right at somebody. Atom ball.
Now, one of the things that you notice about the postseason play now is that most managers like to start their power pitchers in the postseason. And I think it's because you're facing better teams, and guys who do not throw hard, do not have a large margin for error. And if they fall behind 2-0 and fall behind the count, they're not able to throw their fastballs and get out of jams. I think if you're a manager, you want a guy that has more margin for error, being able to throw his fastball when he's behind the count and still stay in the ball game.
So Batista got the start rather than Helling.
Exactly.
Now, if there's a game 4 in this series, there'll be lots of power on display.
Right.
As Edgar Renteria fouls that one back and into the seats, it is 0-2. Randy Johnson for the Diamondbacks and Matt Morris, the ace right-hander of the Cardinals. Morris, who won 17 in the regular season.
Well, the reason for that, I mean, you can watch a lot of managers, when guys do not throw hard and they get behind 2-0, you kind of cringe because you know a fastball's coming and you know that the guy's sitting on it, and there aren't a lot of guys who can throw 2-0 fastballs and get away with it.
0-2 the count to Renteria, who hit that one off his foot.
If you're going to be a finesse pitcher, you're going to have to throw strikes. You cannot fall behind the hitters and get away with pitches.
Rick Helling is definitely a finesser, and a pretty good one.
He's a fine pitcher.
Strike 3 called on that low fastball, and Renteria is gone. He is now 0 for 3. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Office of the Commissioner of Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent. Go to MLB.com on the internet to bid on special autographed and game-used items currently up for auction to benefit the September 11th Disaster Relief Fund. MLB.com. Check it out. 2 down, Miguel Cairo. Curveball too low. Cairo knocked in the Cardinals' first run. They were trailing 2-0 in the 2nd inning. He came up with 2 down and got the clutch hit to knock in the first run. Then in the 4th inning, in a tie game, he got hit by a pitch, and that was the start of a 2-run rally that put the Cardinals ahead. Cairo playing with the injury to Roland. And Durazo behind safe at first is Cairo.
Well, that's one of the pitfalls of a left-handed thrower at first base, but you always want one there if you can have it. See, he's going away from the play. Now he has to whirl, find the pitcher, and hit him on the run, and he wasn't able to do that. See, now he has to find him, and you have to hit a moving target.
No, I think he needs a little work on that play, Joe.
Well, you know, they have one of the slickest fielding first baseman in the dugout, Mark Grace, but they wanted DeRozzo's bat in there.
I mean, they'd not been hitting. They only scored 3 runs, didn't hit a single homer the first 2 games. And that was with Grace in there. And Bob Brentley said, hey, postseason, defense is at a premium. But suddenly, without Gonzalez in the lineup, they just needed to try to generate a little offense. So DeRozzo is in there.
That was scored as a base hit.
I mean, Cairo really hustled on that play.
I was going to say the same thing. If they make a good throw, it's still going to be very close at first base.
So I think I agree with the official score. Mike Matheny, the hitter, it was grounded out to short and blooped to center.
I didn't say I agreed with him. I just said it was going to be close.
Well, I'm agreeing with him.
No, that's fine.
And I wasn't agreeing with him until you made that explanation. So you're sort of saying you can understand the official score's call, although you don't necessarily agree with it.
See, we've been together too long. Now you read my mind and you understand. No, but that's true. I mean, I can understand why you give him a base hit.
Well, you left that part out about not necessarily agreeing with it when you first.
No, I can understand why he gave him a hit. I'll leave it at that.
And Matheny with a 2-strike count now. Matheny, he scored what right now is the run that has the Cardinals ahead in this game after his bloop single in the 4th. He was moved up on the suicide squeeze bunt by Bettis that knocked in a run, and that put Matheny at second, and VINA brought him home with a clutch 2-out hit. 4-3, St. Louis leading. Off the outside, 1 ball and 2 strikes. The Arizona bullpen is busy now. You see the Diamondbacks bullpen. That's Fetters, the right-hander, and Mike Myers, the left-hander, with the very unusual delivery. 1-2 to Matheny. And back to the bag at first is Cairo. Miguel Cairo stole only 1 base during the season. Bob Brentley, last year his first year as a big league manager, and his team won it all. Right now they're just trying to win 1. Got 2 games to none in this series, and if they don't win 1 tonight, they'll go home. 1-2 to count. Pitch out. Cairo wasn't going anywhere.
If you're Bob Brentley, you know, you have to say, well, you know, maybe this is easy. That was last year. And then after winning the division again this year, you might be thinking the same thing. Now you realize why it's difficult. And you send your 2 aces out, Randy Johnson and Kurt Schilling, and you still do not have a win. Then it becomes a little more difficult.
Popped up. Got him chasing that curveball. Matt Williams takes it. 1 a hit, 1 left. Kurt Schilling, Randy Johnson, they'd like to pitch again in this series. For the ball game here during the 7th-inning stretch at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. Game 3 of the National League Division Series. The Cardinals and the Diamondbacks. And the Cardinals are leading 4-3, trying to wrap up this series tonight. 52,189, the official paid crowd here at Busch Stadium. And of course, this has been a season of pain and suffering at times for the Cardinals, and they remember their fallen teammate Darryl Kyle, who on June 22nd died tragically, unexpectedly, and his locker remains his in the Cardinals clubhouse with a special plaque. Darryl Kyle, husband, father, teammate, and friend. And Darryl Kyle They vowed that he would remain a part of this team in spirit, and they have made good on that, and have used the memory of Darryl Kyle as an inspiration to them. The Cardinals, who had so many injury problems, and then a great stretch run, and here they are, and they have won 2 straight over the Diamondbacks. Winning game started by Randy Johnson and Curt Schilling, no less. And now they need 6 outs more to dispatch the Diamondbacks. Mike Myers, the left-hander, comes on to pitch, and he will face a pinch hitter, Eduardo Perez. We were talking about Tony Perez earlier tonight. Eduardo is Tony's son. And that's ball 1 for Myers.
Eduardo's had some big home runs in clutch situations for the Cardinals this year. He's been used a lot as a pinch hitter, and then a lot of times he's been able to play in the outfield some of the ball games. But Tony La Russa said he's done a fantastic job for him.
Steve Klein up in the bullpen, the left-hander for the Cardinals. 4-3 St. Louis. Fernando VINA, a left-handed hitter, and then J.D. Drew, a lefty, scheduled to follow Perez. That's a little bit low. 2 balls and no strikes. 4 runs, 6 hits for St. Louis, 3 runs, 4 hits for Arizona. The Diamondbacks have the game's only home runs. Picked up by Durant. Well, he didn't pick it up yet. Now he picks it up. And Myers over to get the put out. And there is 1 away.
Now, and I think you were talking about Darryl Kyle. I think Tony La Russa deserves a lot of credit, for keeping this team together and bringing them down the stretch, playing well. They played as well as anyone down the stretch, maybe with the exception of the Giants, but they played really well, beat the teams they had to beat. They beat the Astros, and then they were beating the Diamondbacks, trying to get the home field advantage throughout, for their division series against Arizona. So he has done a fantastic job. But along with him, the other managers, I think they all should get a tip of the hat for the jobs that they all did this year.
Fernando VINA takes a called strike. VINA has singled and scored a run and has singled home a run. That was a clutch 2-out hit in the 4th inning. It drove in the 4th run of the game for the Cardinals, and they lead 4-3 even now, last of the 7th. Myers, who specializes in getting left-handed hitters out, and the count now is 0-2. Well,
Bobby Cox, for one, I think that he never gets the credit that he's deserved. They won 11 consecutive division titles, but he just doesn't get the credit that he deserves for keeping his team together. Dusty Baker, of course, has gotten some credit, and he did another great job in San Francisco. And you have to give Bob Brennan a lot of credit for, it's very difficult to repeat in the National League, especially.
The shallow right goes Spivey, and VINA is thrown out. A nice play by Spivey. Had to move well over to his left to pick it up.
Well, he has to go a long way for it because he's not even in the picture because he's playing VINA the other way. And once you catch a ball that deep with a guy like VINA running, you have to make a quick release and be accurate with it.
So 2 men are gone, and here is the powerful J.D. Drew. Well, Fernando VINA retired. That has not often happened in this series. He's now 9 for 15, 9 hits and 15 at bats. A cool .600 batting average. On the other side of things, the Arizona leadoff man, Tony WOMACK, has been held in check by the Cardinal pitching staff. He's had only 2 hits and 13 at bats. 0 for 4 tonight. And a strike. The Diamondbacks will have their big hitters up in the 8th inning. Spivey, then Finley, and Matt Williams. Durazo would be due 4th in the inning. Klein getting ready in the bullpen, a left-hander.
And you find more and more of these games turn on matchups in the situations that you can put your players in to succeed. And like Mike Myers, we brought him in. There were 3 out of 4 hitters were going to be left-handed hitters. Perez started off, but after that you have VINA, Drew, and Edmonds, in that order. And so you bring in Myers to face those hitters. Normally you bring Myers in for a couple of hitters at a time, but he figures he wants to stay close, so he matches Myers up against the left-handed hitters here of the Cardinals.
2-2 now to Drew. We saw Bob Brenly in the dugout conversing a moment ago with his bench coach, Bob Melvin. Bob Melvin, whose name comes up periodically when there are managerial openings, and there are a lot of them right now. Matt Williams can't get it. Womack from left field, and it was not even close. Drew, who has excellent speed even with the bad knee.
That's good hitting there by Drew just to stay in there against Myers because he's tough to hit and he's tough to pick up for a left-hander. Matt Williams ranges far to his left, can't get there, and no chance for Womack from that deep in the hole to try to throw out a guy like J.D. Drew who runs so well. You can see Drew well across the bag.
So Durazo will play in the bag with Drew, and another left-handed hitter, Jim Edmonds, will come up. Edmonds tonight is lined out to center, walked, and been called out on strikes. Drew back to the bag at first. See Edmonds for the night and for the series. 4-3, St. Louis ahead, last of the 7. The big hitters are up right now. Byung-Hyun Kim warming up in the Arizona bullpen. Normally the closer. Normally gets into games, 8th and 9th innings, when his team is ahead in a tight game. But you get Albert Pujols on deck. If Edmonds reaches here, Bob Brennan may go to Kim a little early tonight. They're just trying to stay alive in this game and in this series. On the outside corner for a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. I mean, it's got to be a crazy adjustment for a left-handed hitter when they're facing Mike Myers. I mean, there really aren't any other pitchers who have quite as pronounced an oddity in their delivery. I mean, he bends his body over toward the first base line and knuckles almost scrape the dirt on the mound. And he gives you that crossfire. Look at that outside edge. 2-1 the count.
Well, this is what he looks like if you're a left-handed hitter.
Just kind of slings it up there. 2-1 the count. Strike 2 on the outside. 2-2.
Well, he drops down and throws a little sidearm breaking ball, and that's a strike. Edmonds doesn't complain about that one.
2-2 to Edmonds. He's had 2 hits and 9 career at-bats against Myers. Drew is back to the bag. The other games today in Division Series play were blowouts. Atlanta beat the Giants 10-2 in the other National League game. In the American League, Minnesota stayed alive against Oakland with an 11-2 victory at the Metrodome. Anaheim wrapped up its series with the Yankees with a 9-5 win. 2-2. Struck him out. Now to the 8th inning. Spivey, Finley, and then Matt Williams coming up. The Cardinals have to go to their bullpen. They are leading by 1.
Now is the time.
National League Division Series action, and the Cardinals are doggedly maintaining their 1-run lead. It's been 4-3 since the 5th inning. Now we go to the 8th inning. Reminder, don't miss the extreme illusions of Chris Angel in an all-new original special, Mind Free. Premiering Sunday, October 20th, part of the 13 nights of Halloween on ABC Family. Joe and I are going to the Bay Area tomorrow for that Oakland, Minnesota game. In the Bay Area, Joe, I mean, Halloween's popular, yes, in a lot of places, but it's kind of a kid's special, exciting night. But in the Bay Area, it's almost like a holiday. It's a real big deal there. 1 ball and no strikes to Junior Spivey from Steve Klein, and that ball is a strike. Spivey facing Klein for the first time. Spivey is struck out, flied out to left center, and walked. And he'd like to get on base here with Steve Finley, who had 25 home runs, coming up next. And then Matt Williams behind him. off the outside. Klein, really one of the top left-handed relievers in the National League. He had some injury problems this year. Put him on the disabled list for about a month, from late April until the end of May. Too low. So now it is 3-1 to Spivey. Cardinals bullpen is working. We got the left-handed hitting Finley on deck. And strike two. Full count now. There's Dave Veers up in the bullpen for the Cardinals, a right-hander. You would figure that Klein's in there at least through Finley, the left-handed hitter on deck. Big pitch here with a one-run lead, 3-2 to Spivey. And he fought it off, bouncing it foul. 3-2. It's been a tense game. Game 2 was very tense in Arizona on Thursday. A 2-1 Cardinal win. They got the winning run in the 9th inning of that game. This one, they got one in the second, one in the third, and two in the fourth to go ahead. After falling behind it initially 2-0 on a DeLucci homer in the second. Arizona got a run back in the fifth to make it 4-3. Pujols threw out. Donald's at the plate to win that fifth inning. Spivey pops it up. VINA out in shallow center. Edmonds comes in, but VINA stays with it. One away.
That was a good job by VINA because he got out there very quickly and waited underneath the ball. If Edmonds could have wanted to call him off, he could have, but VINA just got over there very quickly. You know, he gets over there, he gets under the ball. If Edmonds wants to call him off, he can, but he's in position to make the play, and he does so.
One down, Steve Finley. So Klein fell behind Junior Spivey 3-1, but he comes back to get it. He made some good pitches there. Finley, powerful hitter. And that is a strike. Finley has only 3 hits in 16 career at-bats against Klein. So we were talking about matchups earlier, Joe. That's a matchup that Tony La Russa likes. There's a history there, and it favors Klein. 1 strike to count. Finley 1 for 2 with a walk tonight, and he pops it up. Matheny's got room. Out number 2. And now a right-handed hitter coming up with power, Matt Williams, with another lefty behind him. Now La Russa could go to the right-hander here, Joe, but he's got a powerful left-handed hitter up next.
Well, I think he wants to make sure that he has a left-handed pitcher in there for DeRozzo, and they're going to try to stay down and keep Matt Williams in the ballpark.
He's got no other left-handed relievers, so he's staying with Klein. There's Veers, the right-hander, up in the bullpen. 2 down, nobody on. In the dirt. Now Matt Williams, a right-handed hitter, and a good one over the years, but Matty has never hit a home run against Klein. 2 hits in 9 at-bats against him. On the other hand, he has hit a couple of home runs against Veers. So stays with Klein. Greg Colbrin, however, has come out on deck, a right-handed hitter. With DeRozzo due up next. It's off the outside, 2-0.
Well, in effect, if you're Tony La Russa, you'd rather have Dave Veers facing Colbrin than having a right-hander in there to face DeRozzo.
So he stays with Klein to face Matt Williams. And that is a fair ball out in front of the plate. And the inning is over. The Cardinals are 3 outs away from eliminating Arizona. John Miller along with Joe Morgan, your ABC family postseason telecasters. And there is Byung-Hyun Kim with his first postseason appearance since games 4 and 5 in last year's World Series. He comes out to face Albert Pujols here the right-handed slugger. And that's a called strike. Now, after Pujols, there's a little kind of a mind freak moment for Kim coming up.
Oh, I like that.
Tino Martinez on deck.
We'll have to wait till the 13th.
Talk about a nightmare. 1 ball, 1 strike. There's Tino. One of the great moments of any World Series. Tino's 2-out, 2-run, bottom of the 9th inning homer against Kim. Last year in Game 4 that kept the Yankees alive. And they won the ball game in extra innings. That's a called strike. And we were all talking about how, wow, never seen that before in a World Series. And the next night it happened again. This time was Scott Brocious doing the honors. But there's Tino, who gets another shot in another postseason against Kim in a few moments. And that's along the right field line. That ball is foul. McCracken giving chase, but a foul ball. Byung-Hyun Kim.
Well, you can see the ball chasing down into the corner, and it continues to curve. And it's a foul ball.
Kim had an outstanding year last year, and he came back, and this was a grist for the talk shows and for preseason speculators. How would Kim come back after the 2 terrible nights in the World Series last year? And he came back very well. 36 saves, a 2.04 ERA, 84 innings pitched, only 64 hits given up. And this guy, I mean, he's tough to hit.
Well, I think it was made easier for him to rebound, John, because they won the World Series. If he would have lost, or they would have lost the World Series, then they would have blamed the losses on him. So I think it's been easier because they did win the World Series last year.
Randy Johnson, who came in late in Game 7, not Kim, however, in that World Series. The night after he had started Game 6, he ended up being, in effect, the closer, pitching the 8th to get the final out of the 8th and the 9th inning, and he got the win in that Game 7. Off the outside, 3-2.
It was interesting, the shot of Randy Johnson and Kurt Schilling sitting there, they're both just hoping, that they get another shot. And Tony La Russa is well aware of this. Remember, they were leading the Braves. They were 1 game away from going, to the World Series a couple of years ago against the Braves. And the Braves took them back to Atlanta and won both games. So Tony La Russa has been there before. He wants to close it out tonight.
It's a walk for Pujols, and here comes Tino Martinez. And this was Game 4 of last year's World Series. Last of the 9th inning, and Yankee Stadium shook.
As they say, that was some of that Yankee Stadium magic,
mystique, and aura.
And it happened at, I guess, the first game this year. But they did not phase the California Angels, and they are going to the LCS.
Nice ball. And Tino, before that at bat in Game 4 in last year's World Series, actually went into the video room near the dugout at Yankee Stadium and watched video of Kim, studied him, and then created his game plan for facing him. He was looking for 1 pitch, and he got it, and he did not miss it. That's a strike. Now the fans here at Busch Stadium are doing that Yankee Stadium style cheer. Let's go, Tino.
John, you just explained why I think some of the hitters are so much better today than in the past, and that's because they could go down and study videotape in between at bats, and that keeps you from going into long slumps. Normally you'd have to work it out the next day, but they can watch during the game and then go out and approach the pitcher with a certain game plan, as you mentioned.
I mean, this is remarkable. It sounds like we're at Yankee Stadium now.
They called timeout and made sure that Tino and Albert Pujols at first base were watching Jose Oquendo over third. He didn't think they were watching him in case Tony wanted to put something on.
2-1 the count. Tino is hitless tonight, although he's hit a couple of line drives right at people. He's walked and lined out twice. He is hitless in this series. He's 0 for 10.
And this would be a good situation to put the hit and run on if you so desired.
There goes the runner. And a foul off to the left.
Tino took a shot toward the shortstop hole because the shortstop Womack was covering on that play. And that's a perfect time because the ball is running away from the left-handed hitting Tino Martinez, so you open up two holes for him. You open up the shortstop hole if he wants to go that way, and you also open up the hole between first and second because the first baseman is still holding Pujols on at first base.
Young Kim and Tino Martinez battling it out again in another October, in another venue. There goes Pujols. Tino drills one foul. 2-2. Well, one thing that Kim has going for him now that he didn't that last time he faced Tino, he's faced him. He knows what not to throw him.
Well, that was a breaking ball there.
It was a fastball last year. That's the one pitch that Tino went up there determined. He said, I'm waiting for that one. And the thing, well, he got a fat one.
And if you're Tony La Russa, you can continue to send him in this situation because they're going to continue to try to throw a strike. They're not going to pitch out in this situation. And if you have confidence that Tino can put the ball in play, you can just let Pujols go, and that'll stay out of the double play.
2-2. Tino Martinez is in his 8th division series. He was in 6 in a row with the Yankees, also in one with Seattle before he became a Yankee. Been in 6 league championship series. And he stays alive just barely.
It's a little slider, and Tino gets the top of it.
Andy Bennett still in the dugout, starting pitcher, removed in the 5th inning. Stayed in there, rooting his team on.
Hit and run in this situation, even though Tino hit a home run last year off of Kim, it's because you know, as Tony La Russa does, that you need one more run. You need an insurance run if you can get it.
Pujols back to the bag.
It may sound strange, but you do not necessarily need a home run from Tino. You just need to try to get one more run. You want to give your closer 2-run lead in the 9th inning rather than him having to go out there with a 1-run lead.
So again, it's like young Kim putting Tino Martinez into the deep freeze here. Tino steps back in there. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And he is in time at second, and that was a close one. Pujols called out at second. Tim Chena right there to make the call with Womack covering.
Well, no hesitation by Kim. If he hesitates at all, he doesn't get him. And watch this. I mean, there's no hesitation. He doesn't wait. He doesn't look. He turned and fired. And you can see that Pujols went in more with a bent leg slide. Maybe if he goes straight in, he may have been able to beat that play.
Well, La Russa seemed to think that maybe he got in there anyway. Now Martinez at first. Here's Edgar Renteria off his foot.
he was out. One of the reasons he was out is because his foot went over the bag. He didn't touch it on the first, so he didn't touch it right there. He goes over the bag.
And he was going for the man and not the bag. Jim Cheetah, professional umpire. Well done. All on a day's work. Edgar Renteria 0 for 3 in the game. And the count is 0-2. Young Kim, not only the young closer of the Diamondbacks, now with a World Series ring, but I mean he had the rather large burden after that World Series. I mean, it wasn't just his Diamondbacks that he was out there pitching for. He had a whole nation of baseball fans in South Korea following every pitch, every move. To Spivey, and that is out number 2. Kim trying to hold the line here. He walked Pujols to start off the inning. Pujols has been forced. Tino Martinez at first base, and Miguel Cairo will come up now in the 9th inning. The Diamondbacks with their final shot, and they'll most likely be facing Jason Isringhausen, the Cardinals closer. Durazo, McCracken, and DeLucci will be due up.
Although I wouldn't be surprised if Tony La Russa ran Klein back out there to force them to pinch hit for Durazo.
Put Coleman up, and then he can bring in Isringhausen. A little blue foul off the bat of Miguel Cairo. Cairo tonight starting in place of the injured Scott Rowland. Remember, on Tuesday he drove in the winning run. It is only at bat in that game after Rowland had been injured. Now tonight he has driven in the first run. That was in the single, the first pitch he saw. He was hit by a pitch starting a 2-run 4th inning rally, and he got an infield hit in the 6th. Isringhausen up in the pen, getting ready. Oh man, that low slider, and then his 0-2. He could not check in time.
And he is just so tough on right-handed hitters. It's very difficult to pick the ball up from his release point, but he also has good stuff. He has a real good fastball, and he has a good slider.
There goes the runner. And a foul down the third base side. So Tino Martinez will turn around and go back to first. Williams there along with Andy Bennis in the far corner of the Cardinals dugout. Cardinals, I mean, there's a lot of excitement underneath that exterior because they are 3 outs away from possibly winning this series. On the other hand, they have just a 1-run lead. And the D-backs with some good hitters coming up in the 9th. Way outside, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Mike Matheny would be next. Miguel Cairo, who has not yet been retired in this series. It's Bob Brennan talking about the Cardinals and the kind of bench La Russa's got, and so many of those players have such great versatility. He says the Cardinals are like an amoeba. Left center. That ball is on its way to the wall. Tino Martinez heading home, and Miguel Cairo does it again. 5-3 Cardinals. DeLucci could not catch up to it, and they get that little bit of insurance from the super sub, Miguel Cairo.
And remember, we talked about it before the game. La Russa had a couple of choices to make. He could have brought Albert Pujols in to play third base and put Marrero in the outfield, but he chose to use Cairo, and Cairo has come through big time here for him. He's driven in a couple of runs with 2 outs. And a great, great effort out there by DeLucci.
Miguel Cairo coming up big time. And Bob Brennan made the comment before the game. The Arizona manager said, hey, how often is it that it's not the Rowlands and the Edmonds and the Pujols? It's guys like Miguel Cairo, he said, who got the winning hit Thursday. It's guys like that who come up big in these postseason games. Cardinals have done it 3 times as a team. VINA also did it. Cardinals have scored 4 of their 5 runs with 2 outs in an inning. Mike Matheny, the hitter now, 1 for 3 in this game.
You know, if you're Bob Brenly, you might think about walking. Okay, they're going to do it now. I was going to say, you think about walking the hitter, Matheny, and that would force them to pinch hit for Klein, and that would give you a better shot with DeRozzo leading off the 9th inning than it would if you have to, you know, switch over and bring Colburn in to pinch hit, and then they bring in Veras to finish it.
In other words, if Matheny makes the final out, La Russa can make Brenly make a move.
Exactly.
And then bring in his closer.
And so what you have to do as a manager is manage, you know, in this direction. You have to think, what can I do here to help my team score some runs in the 9th inning? And what you can do is get DeRozzo to be able to lead off the 9th inning, because that's what you want.
Well, walks have been killing the Diamondbacks tonight. It was a walk at the start of the 2nd inning that got the Cardinals inning going. In fact, 2 walks by Batista after he'd been staked to a 2-run lead. One of those walks turned into a run. Then a hit in the 4th inning turned into a run. In fact, a walk set up a run in the 3rd inning. A 2-out walk moved a runner into scoring position. And now a leadoff walk here has in effect become a run. Pujols got the walk and was forced out, and Martinez, the man who forced him, ended up scoring. So everything the D-backs have been giving away tonight has been pounced on by the Cardinals.
Well, a lot of people are saying, well, you have Kim up there facing a right-handed hitter, Matheny, but now you're going to have to face a left-hander. But you're already down by 2 runs. So I think you have to think about, how am I going to score runs rather than just who I'm facing here to get out of this inning. I think that was a smart move by Brendan.
Barry Robinson, the pinch hitter, and that's ball 1. Brenly's got DeRozzo, the lefty, McCracken, a switch hitter, and DeLucia, a lefty. The Cardinals have, or had until now, a lefty, Klein, in the game.
So,
but he's in no longer. And it's 2-0, and Kim is getting into some serious trouble here. Left-handers in a lot better against Kim than do right-handers.
Well, but John, this is the risk you have to take. I mean, if he can't get Robinson out, there's really nothing to do about it. You had to take this risk, I believe.
3-0. Of course, I mean, neither lefties nor righties, nobody hits that well against Kim. I mean, he is tough to hit. This will be his 30th pitch of this inning. 2 men on, 2 men out. A run is in. That's a strike. 3-1. But again, DeRozzo, I mean, he's a big bat. And he will get a chance to swing in the 9th inning. That is a base hit. Here comes Cairo. The throw by DeLucia, too late. And with 2 down, the hits keep on coming for the Cardinals. 6-3.
Even though it didn't work out, I still think you had to do that if you're Bob Brenly. You had to try to keep your 2 powerful left-handed hitters and give them a chance to help you in the bottom of the 9th. Good job by Robinson just going the other way to drive in the run. And guys who are successful, especially a lot of left-handers, hit Kim, they go the other way because the ball does tail away from you. And the throw by DeLucia, not in time.
Now VINA, he's had 2 hits tonight, including a 2-out RBI single. And that high rising slider misses inside. VINA 2 for 4 in the game, 9 for 15 in the series. And Byung-Hyun Kim in his 3rd game, beginning with that World Series last year, and again he has given up runs. The home runs very dramatically at Yankee Stadium in that World Series, and in his first postseason outing since, the Cardinals jump on him for a couple.
Well, he walked the leadoff hitter. I mean, that's, you know, walks have really hurt the Diamondbacks in tonight's ball game, as well as hit back
on a 3-1 count. That's when he got the hit. Now it's 3-0 to VINA. And the Diamondbacks get their bullpen going. Ball 4. Kim did not pitch much down the stretch. The D-backs went into a losing streak near the end of the season, where they didn't need a closer. I mean, he went the last 12 days of the season, only pitched a couple of times. He's up over 30 pitches thrown right here, as Bob Brenly watches the whole season sailing away.
Well, actually, I think the hit by Cairo caused all this, because after Cairo, he fell behind 2 runs. You have to keep your big bats in the lineup in order to come back from that. So he had to take the chances with Robinson and VINA, and both of them have reached base.
He has walked 3 in the inning, including the intentional pass. Here is Drew, the 8th hitter of the inning. Backdoors him with a slider. 1 ball and no strikes. J.D. Drew, 1 for 4 in the game. Singled his last time. So now the Cardinals can bust it wide open. They already are ahead by 3 in the 8th inning. That's a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike to Drew. Drew, who as a kid loved Barry Bonds. Had to model himself after Barry Bonds because he was left-handed. And he hit for power and he had speed. High in the air to center. Finley, plenty of room. And the inning is over. And soon, for the Arizona Diamondbacks, the season may well be over. They need 3 runs to stay alive. To the 9th inning we go. 52,189 at Busch Stadium, ready to celebrate. The Cardinals are leading 6-3 over Arizona, 3 outs away from winning this division series and moving on in the 2002 postseason. A year ago, the Arizona Diamondbacks, it was Game 7. Luis Gonzalez got the winning hit against Mariano Rivera, and the Arizona Diamondbacks had won the World Series with a 2-run come from behind rally in the last of the 9th. Randy Johnson, who got the win in that game and who would pitch tomorrow if only the Diamondbacks could win this game. But right now, Arizona is closing in on an early exit. Mark Grace, who got that 9th inning rally started last year with a clutch base hit. Steve Finley, who had such a fine season this year. And on down the list, the D-backs. May well have thought it could not quite happen this way. Not with Randy Johnson and Curt Schilling in the rotation. Here is Jason Isringhausen. Isringhausen, who got a save in the 2nd game on Thursday of this series, and who has had 3 other saves in the postseason while he was with Oakland, all against the Yankees. And he has not given up a home run since August of last year. Rubiel Durazo. Edmonds gets there. 1 away.
And John, we saw a shot of Randy Johnson sitting there. A lot of people wondered why you didn't bring Randy Johnson back on 3 days rest. But if you did, it's still going to work out the same way. You're still going to need someone else to win a game other than Curt Schilling and Randy Johnson. And so he chose to give Randy his full rest in the hopes that they could win tonight's game. Then he would have Randy Johnson on full rest and Schilling could go on 3 days rest.
Cardinal bullpen, 3 2/3 scoreless innings tonight after an early exit by Bennis. He was lifted after 4 2/3 innings, although he was ahead. 6-3 Cardinals. 1 out. Here is McCracken. A strike. The last time a National League team won consecutive World Series was 1975 and 76, the Big Red Machine.
I knew that.
Is that a trivia question?
I thought you were going to ask the question. I'd say, I know.
And a curveball. It is 0-2. And that will remain in place Well, the Diamondbacks, who won the World Series last year, are about to be eliminated, but it's not over just yet. But they need 3. When you think of a 3-run rally, you think of the home run. And Isringhausen has not given up one since August of last year.
And no matter what, I mean, you have to tip your hats to the Diamondbacks. They've done things that no expansion team in the history of the game has ever done. I mean, just to go out and beat the mighty Yankees last year and win the World Championship, and then to follow that up by winning the Western Division this year shows that they have really, you know, come a long way as an expansion team. There's Jerry Colangelo. He's the managing general partner of the Diamondbacks.
0-2 to McCracken.
And they had a lot of injuries that have hurt them this year, not just the loss of Luis Gonzalez.
They lost Craig Counsell.
Yeah, and that was a terrible loss.
Yeah.
And even earlier, before the season started, they lost Batista, who was a real good hitter in the postseason last year.
Well, who actually started the season and was red hot.
Right, and he was the guy that actually was replacing Reggie Sanders.
He played the first 40 games and hit .325.
Yeah, so
and was out for the year.
So, I mean, and I'm sure they're not going to use that as an excuse, or we're not trying to make excuses for them. But, I mean, they did lose some guys that were very important to their ball club.
Well, I mean, they won.
Very difficult to defend without your full complement of players.
Despite all of that, I mean, they won 98 games.
But I think also they've run into a red-hot Cardinals team that has played so great down the stretch. You know, they went into Houston in a big series, and they beat the Astros there. The Astros came here, and they beat the Astros here. So they have done what they were supposed to do to get to this point, meaning the Cardinals.
That is a fair ball. Tino Martinez, out number 2. The New York Yankees were eliminated this afternoon in Anaheim. The first team to be eliminated in this postseason. And the team that beat the Yankees in the World Series last year, the Arizona Diamondbacks, are 1 out away from being the second team to be sent home. Scott Rowland not able to play. Celebrating with the 3rd out. Foul ball. DeLucci, who hit a home run in the 2nd inning to put Arizona briefly ahead in this game. The Cardinals, who finished up the year going 21-4, that was their stretch run, including a sweep of the Diamondbacks in the season's final week. They're 1 out away from sweeping them again here in October. Miguel Cairo, huge in this series. Curveball, that misses. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cairo tonight, in his first start after he got the winning hit, coming off the bench. Tonight, 3 for 3. Fernando VINA, 2 more hits and a walk tonight. And this should do it. VINA from right field. And the Cardinals are moving on. They have swept last year's World Series champion Arizona 3-0. They beat Johnson. They survived Schilling. They have swept the Arizona Diamondbacks. And now we'll get a few days off. Waiting to find out if they'll be playing Atlanta or San Francisco. Darryl Kyle's jersey, as it was when they clinched the division title, part of the celebration on the field. The St. Louis Cardinals are moving on. They've been in 15 World Series, and they're headed to their 6th League Championship Series. Fernando VINA, who had a great division series, is standing by in the field with our Brian Kenny. Brian?
Hey, fellas, Fernando, you've been dealing with these guys for a few years. What's it like to sweep the World Series champs?
This is awesome, man. I mean, they got a great team over there. They're a class act, and you know, I'm just happy. Thank God we won these games, and we're going to the next round. This is awesome.
Talk about the character of this team after all you've been through, Fernando.
You know, this win right here is for DK and Jack Buck. I mean, they were so special to us, and part of the Cardinal family. We lost them, and you know, my heart goes out to their families, and this is the start. Hopefully we keep going all the way to the end.
Fernando, congratulations to you. Hit nearly 600 in the series. Miguel Cairo is with us right now. Miguel, they couldn't get you out once you got out on the field. What's the secret?
I don't know. I just went over there like I was thinking the whole time that I was pinch hitting. So I've been doing very good this year as a pinch hitter. And, you know, I get lucky and I get 3 hits and I get hit by the pitch. You know, I was feeling comfortable and I was feeling good, and I was just taking one at a time.
You're filling in for Scott Rowland for defensive purposes. You go 3 for 3. Did you talk to Scott at all about this coming into this game?
No, but you know, he's a very good man, and you know, we lost him, but you know, every time someone step out in there and do their job. But today it was my chance, and I take advantage of it.
Miguel, congratulations to you. Off to the National League Championship Series. John, back to you.
All right, the Cardinals are in. Congratulations to Tony La Russa, Andy Bettis. The Cardinals have been through so much this year. They are moving on. Stay tuned. We'll be back. St. Louis Cardinals have swept the Arizona Diamondbacks, winning tonight 6-3. Jeff Fassero getting the win. Isringhausen with the save. Batista took the loss. And Miguel Cairo, the big hitter, 3 for 3, 2 batted in. Andy Bettis drove in the run that put them ahead on a suicide squeeze bunt in the 4th inning. It also set up another run that VINA drove in. Then later, with a 1-run lead, this throw by PUJOLS got Chris Donalds at the plate, who was the possible tying run. He did not get to the plate, and the Diamondbacks never got anybody else even that close, as they were beaten 6-3, a series in which they scored only 3 runs. Miguel Cairo with this 2-out single that drove in the first run. They were down 2-0 at the time. That was the first pitch he saw tonight. Then Cairo got his 3rd hit of the night. This double in the 8th inning, and that was the little bit of insurance. That also came with 2 down, just over DeLucci. And TINO Martinez came all the way around to score from first base. So the Cardinals now are in, and the whole thing now shifts to the San Francisco, Oakland Bay Area tomorrow. The Angels are in the American League. The Cardinals are in, and Joe Morgan tomorrow will be at the Oakland Coliseum. The A's and the Minnesota Twins going to a Game 5.
Well, nothing like a Game 5 in the division series to get everyone excited. I think it'll be an exciting day tomorrow in the Bay Area. The Giants will play at night, but this has just been wonderful. I've enjoyed watching the Cardinals because, I mean, they play good baseball. And I said before, I think they have the best lineup in the National League. That's when Scott Rowland's in there anyway.
And they are celebrating, and you know that is a heartfelt celebration. And with the cheering and the champagne flowing, also you would imagine there are tears, as there were when they won the division title. Congratulations to the St. Louis Cardinals. They are heading into the League Championship Series against either the Giants or the Braves. We'll have the Twins and A's tomorrow, 1 o'clock Pacific time, 4 o'clock Eastern. John Miller for Joe Morgan from St. Louis. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports, in association with ABC Family. For more, log on to ESPN.com. It all shifts to the San Francisco Oakland Bay area tomorrow. We'll see you from the Coliseum, 4 Eastern time. Now, good night from St. Louis.
Now is the time. People say it's a team of destiny. You guys have been through so much this year. Do you believe in destiny?
Well, I believe all things happen for a reason.
Sure, why not? I think we're pretty good, too. So it doesn't help to have destiny and a little luck on your side.
I believe in destiny, no doubt about that. This team has a huge heart. You know, the resilience on this team is foregone by any other team. I mean, we've just, you know, we turned some pages, and everybody stepped in and helped one another out.
Well, do you believe in destiny? A lot of people are starting to believe that the Cardinals are destiny's darlings because they are playing for more than just a World Series trophy. They're playing for Jack Buck and Darryl Kile. The Cardinals advanced to the National League Championship Series last night by not just beating the world champion Diamondbacks, but by sweeping them in 3 straight. And everybody had a part, including Miguel Cairo. In fact, he had a big part. He had the game-winning hit in Game 2, and last night, 3 for 3 on base 4 times, 4 for 4 in the series. Cairo was a 28-year-old career platoon player. He was just filling in for the injured Scott Rowland, but he did a great job. And there have been a lot of players who've gotten the job done this season. The Cardinals are the feel-good story of the year in baseball. And for more on that, Kelly Johnson joins us live in studio. Kelly.
Well, Mike, you talk about destiny. How about luck? Usually a championship team somewhere along the line benefits from luck. Well, the Cardinals season has been anything but lucky. Instead, they've determined their own fate. Tony La Russa said every player who's put on a Cardinals uniform this season has contributed, and now the Birds are bathing in their success.
VINA from right field, and the Cardinals are moving on. They have swept.
When the Cardinals left the field last night, they celebrated and enjoyed the moment.
This is why you put a uniform on every day.
But with their second champagne party in a week, the Redbirds also remembered they're only halfway to their goal.
It's round by round. Right now, this is one of our goals. We're not right where we want to be at yet, and we're going to come out and fight hard next round. We've been here before the last couple years, and we know this is very special, but there's a lot more work to be done.
But this is a team on top of their game with the focus of a champion. After all, who would have guessed the Cards would not only sweep the World Series champs, but beat Randy Johnson and Curt Schilling back-to-back.
That's how it is when you play a great game, you know, and that's what we've been doing the last 3 months. Just try to do our job and go out there and battle, you know, day by day.
No matter what kind of hand we're dealt, we seem to just come out and keep working hard and push ahead and grind it out every day.
And it's their resiliency that's helped the Cardinals defy all odds this season. They're driven by the memory of Jack Buck and Darryl Kile.
Every time you see something, you know, about Darryl and stuff, for me, it's real tough. I mean, I sit out there and you get that feeling that we're going to win, and you look up and you see something that reminds you about him, and you just get that extra little, oomph in there. And
we're here for Darryl. You know, this is his biggest dream, and hopefully we keep on going to fulfill that dream.
Well, we have a real team, and when it was over, we took a minute to remember Jack and Darryl. So it's very, very special.
And the beauty of this team is that someone new steps up every night, like Miguel Cairo. After the loss of Scott Rowland in Game 2, Cairo provided the game winner Thursday night and finished 3 for 3 with 2 runs batted in last night.
We've been through a lot of stuff, a lot of up and downs, and we never give up. We always keep our head up, and we came through again.
It's awesome, he's come through, and they've been challenging him, and fortunately for us, he put good wood on the ball.
So it's 2 steps down, 2 more to go. And while the next round sounds nice.
How does the NLCS sound?
Oh, it sounds wonderful. This feeling right now, you can see, you know, we want to go all the way, and that's how we're feeling right now.
Well, I thought it couldn't get any better than the last party we had, but it seems like the closer we get to playing in the World Series or getting toward it, parties keep getting better and better.
It's been 20 years since the Cardinals last won the World Series, and for St. Louis, that's 20 years overdue. Now, every player I've talked to said it doesn't matter who they play in the NLCS. Sure, home field advantage would be nice. But as Albert Pujols said, we're a great team right now. We just beat the best pitchers in the game, so we'll take on anyone. Mike?
You know, when the Mets won the World Series back in 1973, their motto was, you gotta believe. That same motto would certainly apply to the 2002 Cardinals. He's been the Cardinals' offensive force this season, but his defense came up big against the Diamondbacks, too. We'll go one-on-one with Albert Pujols, who's on the couch. Unofficial most valuable player of the divisional playoffs against Arizona was second baseman Fernando VINA. As Frank Cusimano reports, Fernando was simply marvelous.
The last out of the series sweep could not have gone to anybody else but Fernando VINA.
VINA from right field, and the Cardinals are moving on.
You see, Fernando ended the series, and he started it too, by making contact in the first at-bat and getting on base. It was a message sent, hey, Randy Johnson, we don't care about your 4,000 strikeouts. We are here to hit.
Get fired up, and it's just one of the things I wanted to go up there, and I didn't want to strike out. I wanted to make contact and hustle down that line, and you know, fortunately, the infielder made an error, and we were able to score some runs there.
VINA in this series started more engines than AAA. Fernando got on base 10 times in 3 games and won a stunning 9 of 15. That's 5 more hits than anybody else in this series. And you throw in the fact that VINA hit over 300 in his last 2 division series, and you have what we call a clutch player.
I can remember his first playoff against Atlanta. You know, I mean, he just thrives for that kind of situation, and especially when you know, he was a little sluggish a couple times during the year, and it was really bothering him, and he was pressing, and he just started fresh every month of September, and he was good for us, and he's coming to the postseason. I mean, he's doing everything he can to help us win, and you know, he has a lot of confidence that he can make a play or get a big hit.
That is a base hit. Matheny rounding third, and he will score.
I love it, man. I mean, this is what it's all about, to actually be able to play in these type of games with the pressure.
Although he stands only 5'9", VINA may be the biggest competitor on the Cardinal team. Case in point, Game 2. VINA didn't like the fact that the umpire would not give him a call when VINA was hit by a pitch. So VINA got mad, and then he got even.
Correctly so, and now VINA swinging, and he says, okay, I'll take matters into my own hands.
So all of a sudden, it was 2 strikes on me instead of 1. So it was just one of the things that, you know, you get fired up. The emotions are so high in these games that you get excited.
The first 9 years of Fernando VINA's career were not spent with the Cardinal organization. But in many ways, he is the essence of Cardinal baseball. He's a 33-year-old blue-collar type of player who has never walked onto the field and not given it everything he has in his 174-pound body.
I'm going to give it all I got, and whatever it takes.
A little looper that VINA can't quite come up with. Boy, he gave it his all.
And while VINA was celebrating on Saturday night, he also took the time to not only remember the Cardinals who he knew, but the ones from the past.
These wins for Jack Buck, for DK, for Enos Slaughter, I mean, Darryl Porter, all the people that mean so much to us in the Cardinal family, you know, my hearts go to all of their families, and this is special. This is just a start for all of us.
Fernando VINA, he has given this team focus in the postseason, and he's had a lot of fun doing it. With editor Tony Chambers, Frank Cusimano, Sports Plus.
And VINA will also go down as one of Walt Jocketty's best trades. The Cardinals gave up Juan Acevedo and 2 minor leaguers to get him. VINA might have been the de facto MVP of the playoff series, but the MVP for the Cardinals this season was outfielder Albert Pujols. I say outfielder, but of course he's also an infielder. Pujols made baseball history this year, becoming the first player in Major League history to start his career with consecutive seasons of at least a 300 batting average, 30 homers, 100 RBIs, and 100 runs. It's time to go one-on-one. And joining me now on Sports Plus, many people think he should be the MVP in the National League this year, Albert Pujols. Congratulations on another tremendous season, Albert.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
As you came into this year, you really did have to make some adjustments because pitchers were pitching you a little differently than they did last year. They got a book on Albert Pujols, but you were able to make those adjustments. How tough was it? Did you have to look at a lot of film? get help from the veterans. How tough was it?
I guess, I mean, it wasn't that tough, you know. Early in the year, like when the season started, I tried to do too much and try to make things happen, you know, instead of let it happen. And I just went out there and realized and asked a lot of questions to my teammates, you know, and even Jimmy and Tino, you know, and the veteran guys. And even my best friend, Placido Polanco, that was by that time my team. It was like, hey, just relax like last year, you know, and just let it go. Don't try to do too much. And that's what I've been doing the last 4 months, you know, just I know we had a great team, and I know that I don't have to do everything to help my team. I know they can pick me up when I can't do it. And the year has passed, you know, and it's been real easy for us.
It was kind of a crazy offseason because Tony La Russa decided in the offseason that Albert Pujols was going to be his third baseman, and then somewhere before the season started, now you were back in left field. Does it matter to you where you play? Are you more comfortable in left now because you played there so much?
I think, like I told you last year, to me it doesn't matter what I play. I'm just happy and blessed that I'm in a great organization and good team like we have right now. And whatever I can do to help my team, either in outfield, first base, third base, you know, that's what I want, help my team. Like, look last night, you know, I thought I was going to be playing third base, and Miguel Cairo played third base and step up for us, you know. And when you get guys like that come from the bench, you know, like all the guys that being on the bench this year coming out and get a big hit for us, it's always good and helping us out to win.
A lot of people have mentioned your name as MVP. Barry Bonds will probably win it because he gets more publicity and had an unbelievable year as well. But how about that talk? How does that make you feel?
I don't think too much about that, you know. I just happy where I'm at, helping my team out, and I just happy that I'm in the postseason with my team. You know, our season could have been 2 weeks ago, and still 2 weeks ago we still playing right now. And I care about my team, you know, than about any award that I can give, you know, because helping my teammates out and be where I'm at right now, you don't get that opportunity. 2 years in a row, you know, in the postseason, and I still am, you know, I still can come next year, you know, and have another great year, maybe, you know, get a lot of more publicity. But right now, it's just more important helping my team to win.
Your offense has been terrific all year. Let's talk a little defense now, because you made 2 great throws in the playoffs, including last night, to nail what would have been the tying run at home plate on the throw to Mike Matheny. Is this something you've been working on a lot, those throws to home plate?
Well, I just, you know, like if I'm playing outfield or third base or first base, I just try to get ready for the game, you know, and every day I go out there and take my fly ball, take my ground ball, get my throw to second base, and getting help from my team, you know. Like last night in that situation when Tony came in and changed the pitcher, I went to the outfield and talked to JD and Jim Edmonds, and I asked Jimmy, hey, what do you think I can play, what I should play right now? And he told me, there's a lefty, you know, there won't be a chance that he hit a ball over your head. Just try to play it straight and catch the ball and make a good throw. And those 2 guys, you know, when you got a guy like that, like Jimmy and JD, they can help you out. They're playing the outfield every day. I mean, I got a lot of help from those guys. You know, Jimmy been helping me out all year long. And that's what happened. I went out there and asked him, and it did work the right way that we talked in the outfield.
Yeah, well, it was perfect because it went right over the cutoff man, right to home plate, and Matheny made the great tag. How often do you guys think about Darryl Kile and Jack Buck? Do you think about them during games? Do you think about them after games? Do you just think about them, you know, in dreams? How often do you think about those guys?
I think every time. I think every time we show up to the park, or even every time we spend time with our family, you know, I got pictures of hanging myself all over my house, you know, and Darryl Kile and Jack Buck, they were not just the great guys for us, you know, both to the city and to the fans, you know, and DK, you know, what he did in 2000, you know, win 20 games and take this team to the playoff. And when he's down off the field with his family, I mean, it's amazing. And he's gonna be there in our heart and in our mind every time we step up in the field, you know, and try to do our job, because they're always gonna be there.
And does it help to know that Flynn Kyle's at a game or that Carol Buck is at a game? Are you guys aware of their presence?
I think that's awesome, you know, because that's telling you that their support, you know, and Flynn was in Arizona, you know, I think that first game,
right,
she was there, and I didn't even know. I saw it, you know, on TV that they were talking about her, and I was like, boy, it's always great, you know, when when she came around, you know, and supporting her husband, you know, because she knows that he was a great part of our family.
You know, speaking of family, we talked to you last year and we got to meet some of your family. Tell me how the family's going. Are you liking St. Louis? Are you enjoying this experience? And how's your young family doing?
Yeah, I mean, I like St. Louis, you know, and my family enjoying it a lot. AJ is almost 2 years old right now, and the other day in school, he was playing in the daycare, and I guess he fell, you know, and I think he cut his head right there and got 3 stitches, you know, but that's something that always happens as a baby, you know, but we're enjoying it right now, and my daughter's doing great, going to school and learning a lot, and this is the time that you need to spend with them, because this is the time that you're going to remember a lot when they walk and talk, telling you papi, you know, and doing a lot of things that when they're 10 and 12, they want to do other things, you know, with their friend, and they don't care about mom and dad no more, you know, because they can do their own thing.
I know how that goes, because when you get teenagers, mom and dad are kind of on the outs, and hopefully we'll be on the in again sometime soon.
Well, they're great right now. Thanks for asking. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you for being here. Albert, it's been an unbelievable year for you. I hope it continues, and maybe a couple more champagne celebrations in the Cardinals locker room.
Hope. You know, that's all we can do, you know, just keep playing and take it day by day and go out there and play hard.
Well, you do that every day. Albert, thanks very much.
Thank you.
That's Albert Pujols, and we'll be right back. The Blues open up their ears. Frank Cusimano.
Common denominator of all championship teams in any sport, role players stepping up big, and we have quite a role player on this Cardinal team in Miguel Cairo.
I'm telling you, I mean, just think of this situation. This guy steps in after Rolling goes down, bam, 3 hits. Played terrifically. This is just what has happened with the St. Louis Cardinal team almost the entire season. Guys stepping up when need be.
Yeah, the game before with the big hit, when it looked like that game could get away, you know, they come right back, he gets the hit. Classic example. Mike Cairo will become like the symbol of this team. Calamity at every turn, but then a new hero at every turn.
And as you being a member of a charter member of the Tony La Russa fan club, I mean, can the guy do anything wrong? From playing Cairo at third instead of putting Eli Marrero into the lineup, from keeping Pujols in left, who throws a guy out, and then his use of the bullpen. This is
calling
just
the squeeze play.
Yeah, the bunting by Andy Bennett. And how about this bullpen? I mean, we're talking Facero and Rick White, 2 horrible pitchers 3 months ago, and they come to the Cardinals and they're great middle relievers.
Yeah, it has been magical. You know, a year ago it was the parade of 1,000 relievers, and Jeff DeBacca and poor Mike Matthews with the hangdog look on the mound. And it seemed like no matter who came in, there was a screw-up. This year you bring Facero in, he gets raked for a hit, but Pujols guns the guy at the plate, and he's off the mound. Happy as could be.
This isn't just a sports story, though, when you look at the team this year. Overcoming, you know, the tragic death of Darryl Kyle, Jack Buck, Tony La Russa's father. This is a story about a group of men, not even men, an organization. I don't want to leave the ladies of the organization out. Fighting through adversity. Their true character has come through, and, you know, props to Tony La Russa and the St. Louis Cardinals.
Who do you want next? The Giants or the Braves? The Giants pounded Tom Glavine and Knight. It's not like Glavine and Maddox or Koufax and Drysdale in the postseason.
Well, these guys, you know, certainly the Cards have had some success and some failures against Atlanta, gone both ways. Still, that's an experienced team. It's a deep pitching staff, great bullpen, nice lineup. You'd rather have Frisco and also go to Frisco.
I think if I were the Cardinals, I'd rather face the San Francisco Giants. You don't want to face Glavine and Maddox, though they haven't had a lot of success in the postseason. I'll tell you what, and that Smoltz coming in.